6:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Tennessee Titans made several cuts on Wednesday to get under the league's salary cap. The team released left tackle Taylor Lewan, wide receiver Robert Woods, linebacker Zach Cunningham, and kicker Randy Bullock. Cunningham and Lewan were released with failed physical designations. The Titans cleared nearly $38 million in cap space with those roster moves. For Lewan, it marked the end of a 9-year career in the two-tone blue, highlighted by 3 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances from 2016 through 2018, but he was hampered by injuries and only made 20 starts in his final 3 seasons. Alabama's Brandon Miller, a former Cane Ridge High School star, scored a career-high 41 points, including the game-winning layup in overtime as the Tide beat South Carolina 78-76. Miller played amongst being linked to the Darius Miles capital murder case. Miller has not been charged. LSU defeated Vanderbilt 84-77. The loss snapped the Doors' 5-game winning streak. Belmont defeated Indiana State 89-88. The Bruins rallied from a 19-point deficit to win in the biggest comeback in Curb Event Center history. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, the day after the cuts begin in the Music City. Rand Carthon's first moves as the Tennessee Titans general manager are done, and the legacy of the longest-serving Titan is discussed this morning. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, with our 11-year NFL veteran, Ramon Foster, our capitalized J journalist, Kayla Anderson, and the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen.
The best producer in the world!
Robert Woods, Taylor Lewan, Randy Bullock, and Zach Cunningham, no longer Tennessee Titans. I'm Will Bowling. Good morning.
Good morning, Will. Okay.
What a way to start the show. You're cut.
We'll see.
You're fired.
We'll see you.
You're cut, too. Yeah, take them with you, Kayla.
You know what was even worse for Randy Bullock yesterday? Not worse, but just as bad.
What?
Fat Randy was trending on Twitter. And I went,
No, it wasn't.
No.
How are they going to do our guy like that?
Yeah.
No.
Dude gets fired on his day off, and that trends on Twitter.
How are they going to do our guy like
Bro.
And body shamed.
That hurts.
What are we doing here? See, that's crazy. We can do that to the guys, man. You don't hear anybody say, "Hey, look at that fat dog over there." You know what I'm saying? Because I will not disrespect the ladies. Like nobody.
I mean, I've called
that.
your dog a fat dog.
Well, he's skinny dog now.
He's skinnier now.
Yeah,
Wow.
He going through your weight loss
On a
program too?
workout
He
plan,
is. Yeah, no. We got into the veterinarian dermatology place way earlier.
There's a dermatology
yes
sector of the vet.
Shafe put me on game, and then my vet hospital did too. I was like, hold up, there's an animal like dermatology.
Shouldn't that be called dermadogogy?
There we go.
See,
on
sometimes
it.
Kicks down my leg.
That was a little rough. I'm sorry.
I'll allow
The
it.
rough was even better than the first joke. There you go.
It's
I
the
mean-
one you least expect.
And
his name is
Will Bowling. His name is Will Bowling.
Oh
Yeah.
You can see the first pun. You can't see the second one. You can't see me. You can't see me.
boy. All right, Tupac.
No. But yes, Kayla, there's a dermatology side of veterinarian hospitals for dogs too.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Keeping that skin right once they get over, the hump.
They got products
age
too.
hump, yeah.
He needs it. So I got to figure out what's going on with my dog. Like he's mad at me and I'm mad at him. Oh, I should have sent y'all the video too the other day.
Why didn't you?
Because
Video
I
of
was
what?
y'all guy, my dog, Zeus. You hear me? I let him outside to go use the restroom. Hey, do your thing. I got him a new donut around his neck, too.
We saw it.
This is
You are
that's right.
torturing that dog with that
He needs
stupid
it.
thing.
I gotta stop him from biting himself. That's what it is.
I
because
know.
he's
What are you
itchy.
getting, like a 14 karat gold one next?
No, he's not getting a 14 karat one. I've been giving him the CBD treats to calm him down and stop the itching and stuff, and it actually does work too. But I let him outside to go do his thing. Like, Zeus, go. We have the invisible fence. I go outside looking for him, round back, round the side. I'll go to the front of the yard. He's just simply walking himself down the street, y'all. I got the video.
Wait, what do you mean walking himself?
So whenever I walk him in the neighborhood, we take the certain path every single time we do. He is walking the path the same way that I walk him while on the leash.
This dog.
Just calm, up and down the street, chilling. And I go, Zeus, hey, what you doing? He's got the ring around his neck. And
He's showing off for the ladies.
And then he looked back at me, and I'm like, dude, come back. And he comes back in the same pathway that I walk him when he's on the leash. And what's so crazy, he crosses the street where we cross at, and then instead of going up the grass, most dogs gonna cut through the grass.
Yeah.
No, he walks on the sidewalk and up the driveway. And I'm like, so you know what you're doing, dog. Like, don't act like you're an idiot out here. He's just been a rebel right now,
He
Kayla.
has you wrapped around his finger.
Oh, he
So
does.
he got freed yesterday like Robert Woods did.
Yeah.
Pretty
He did.
much, Will. Yes, he did. He said free.
But Bobby Trees was cut down. Let's
But
just be.
Bobby Trees was cut.
He was just,
That's what.
I don't know. You know.
Yeah, Zeus, Bobby
Well
Trees,
done.
Taylor Lewan, and Randy Bullock all cut yesterday.
I love that the text Ramon sends us when all these cuts
I
happen is
know.
not my guy Randy.
I know, not my
How are they
guy.
gonna do my boy like this?
Out of all
Really?
of them,
Really?
Randy.
Yeah.
That's your boy. Was he invited over for a barbecue?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Randy kicked
Yeah,
right.
Randy. Randy's getting a barbecue before us now. A
That's
farewell
right.
barbecue.
That's
I,
right.
I blocks for Randy, man. So I'm a little.
Oh, did you actually?
I did.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were actually teammates.
I
That's on
didn't
me.
know that.
That's on me.
Yeah, I blocked
That's a
for
demerit on me.
Well, I
I
would like a
didn't know
formal
that.
apology to Ramon Foster right now.
Will.
Ramon Foster, I apologize
That's
for
okay.
assuming that your
Wow.
outrage over the kicker, who was 17 of 20 for field goals last year, was fake.
No.
I apologize.
know.
Like your advocacy for certain assistant coaches, I assumed this was a bit. This was a fake bit that you were doing. But
I just forget the age gap.
No.
I just assume anybody who's playing now is way younger than Ramon.
oh my gosh. Wow. Now I didn't say that.
You know I'm just joking because I have nothing to say because I'm the oldest one.
I know. It's just you said it's
Man.
such a smooth transition. Like, Mom, you old as hell. I ain't expect you play with nobody. It was like,
No, but I
God
forget that
dang.
you really
Yeah.
did not. You played like a few years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It was 3 years.
Yeah, and
I got
to
it.
clarify, Randy does look a little older.
Yeah, see, there. Way to clean it up, Kayla.
Clean up duty.
Would you rather do you think he'd rather be called old Randy or they say fat Randy? Because you just pretty much gave him
You
one.
know what,
I-
though? It's
the-
Dad Bod Randy.
Dad bod
He does have
Randy.
it.
And that's cool.
He reminds
too.
me of the South Park Randy. Yeah, he does for some reason.
I don't need that image in my head, Kayla. That's boy.
Huh?
Yes, Lars. Smooth,
Randy?
Kayla.
That's fantastic.
That is
615-737-1045. Coming up this morning on the show, Coach Mack at 7:20. We'll continue the conversation with him on draft prospects, get his thoughts on the cuts yesterday, the official news of Justin Alton joining the staff, and go through some running backs as well with Coach Mack, just like we did with Rhett Bryan on yesterday's show, who, by the way, deserves a round of applause and a victory lap this morning. Maybe not a victory lap because guys got cut, and that kind of feels
Right.
weird doing a victory lap about that part of it, but
He was prescient yesterday.
prescient. I got
Prescient.
yelled
Look
at for
at
saying
these-
penultimate.
Prescient.
What are we all?
So
I got to
we're
get my
gonna know
word of
that
the
word.
Are we
week.
going to call him a private school kid now too? Like, what are we doing?
Oh, I am educated.
What's my word of the week here? Let me do some research.
Rhett Bryan
here.
told us to have our heads on a swivel yesterday morning,
We did.
and I hope those heads were on said swivel when cuts were made.
Prescient, having or showing knowledge of events before they take place.
Wow.
He had great foresight.
Suck it, Trebek.
That's impressive.
I also had a word of the day yesterday too.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. When, what was it?
It was rebuild. A
You-
verb.
Yes, you did.
There you go.
Meaning
You're right.
To make extensive repairs to restore to a previous state, to make extensive changes in, to build again, rebuild. Kayla, you gotta get your word of the day now. I have mine.
Well, that wasn't that impressive.
We gotta have more than 2 syllables on a word of the day. That needs to be the expectation.
Literally.
3 syllables.
That's what she said.
Literally.
Crazy. We didn't even give a guideline, Will.
Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports at 8:20 this morning.
Oh, Will's got to play dad today.
And more info on A.J. Brown and, I don't know, money you spent on 2 guys who aren't on the team anymore that you could have just paid to A.J. Brown. Later on in the show this morning.
That was a violent stance right there.
Trebek, reasons why we have a new general manager for 500, please.
Oh, boy.
Survey says.
Where is his dad?
Two
at?
different game
Two different
shows.
game shows. I don't care. Hey, good answer, Steve. Hey, good answer, Steve. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Rain will in Shafe,
No,
will you?
no, this is my favorite Will.
So that's
My
what we would
favorite
do
Kayla.
in our fraternity when we were playing any kind of like fake game show. We were like asking questions, and there was like some kind of answer to it, like the officers would give or something, or like, hey, like, can you like clarify da da da? And the entire fraternity would just go, "Good answer, Steve. That's a good answer. Good answer. Good answer." Like we were all on Family Feud.
I'm glad you use a name like Steve, too.
Hey, good answer, Steve.
Oh, Steve Harvey. Hosting
Steve
family.
Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
So I will say
join the
I
show,
was being insolent towards Ramon
Oh my gosh! Here we go.
earlier.
1, 2, 3, 3 syllables.
Insolent. Okay.
Get your
Showing
numbers up,
rude
Mom.
or arrogant lack of respect.
I mean, that's the correct word.
Weekdays from
Thank
6
you.
to 10.
Thank you very
on
much. Capital J right here.
Hey, bring it in. Oh, bring it in right there. Insolent. I had to use that on somewhere.
Weekdays,
around
we are arrogant, rude,
here. And insolent.
showing a lack of respect. 6 to 10 on 104.5 The Zone. Coming up
Nice. I needed
next,
a new opener.
the Cuts. The Cuts take the Titans from the top 5 biggest cap deficits to the middle of the pack in terms of cap space available. We'll tell you exactly how much space the Titans created yesterday and where they sit now among the top of the league in money available to spend this free agency cycle. That's next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
Suck it. Finding value is important all the time, but especially these days. And that's why I'm so confident in recommending Genesis Diamonds, because value is the core principle that Genesis was founded on. The owner is a former diamond wholesaler who used to sell diamonds to upscale jewelry stores, but he hated how much they marked up the prices when they sold them to their customers. Yeah, that's kind of bad right there. So he cut them out and started selling direct to the public at fair and honest prices that eliminated the traditionally fat retail profit margins. That direct importer advantage still applies at Genesis Diamonds. That's why they beat everyone else's prices on GIA certified diamonds. But it's more than just price. At Genesis, you'll get a higher quality diamond with the best cut for maximum brilliance, no commission salespeople, a personal, relaxed shopping experience, free service for life on any purchase also. You also get the best rings money can buy from top designers in America. These are handcrafted American-made rings from the most sought-after designers, names like Tacori and Viraggio and many more. So this year, as you think about getting engaged or celebrating a milestone of any kind, remember Genesis Diamonds. Best selection, highest quality, guaranteed best value, and a locally owned company with amazing international connections. Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Thursday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you. 615-737-1045 is our number as we discuss the cuts yesterday from the Titans roster and the space created. The Titans going from bottom 5 in cap deficits to now, according to Over the Cap, having the 13th most cap space in the league at $12.4 million after starting the day $23 million over the salary cap number. We go to the phones where Josh in Franklin, Kentucky leads us off this morning. 615-737-1045. Hey, Josh.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking my call. I'm going to tickle your ego a little bit, Ramon Foster. You know, when you're an offensive lineman and you have a long career blocking for a Hall of Fame quarterback who himself has a long career, to me that makes you a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. But, you know, I don't think we talked a few days ago about the XFL and how there's a huge talent drop-off on the offensive line. Is it what's the talent pool like just in the NFL itself for offensive line? And for me, I would think it would be a success if the Titans went and basically used the whole draft and the offseason just working on the offensive line. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think the Titans fans would feel like if that actually did happen?
Thank you, Josh.
Man. I will say this. I think it's fair that the XFL has guys being able to show their talent. The talent pool that I saw from this past weekend wasn't great when it came to how they blocked, though. There is different levels. Like those guys, some of those guys probably last games were probably 2 years ago in college, to be fair to them, too. So you probably got to catch a little bit of a rhythm on how to block. But the Titans being able to address that, Josh, though, I mean, this is, I think, on docket number 1 when it comes to the Titans offseason, too. So I think they'll be either very active in free agency for value guys on the OL, or they probably go draft pick too. So that's just where I am. Like, I don't think you can just scrap all the money you just got back yesterday, Will, Kayla, listeners. You got to find some value developmental guys that's going to go out and fight for you.
And then member Ryan Harris said yesterday he feels like they need that one veteran dude too.
Set the tone.
To set the tone.
Right now, they don't have it.
Right.
You're right. So it's going to be interesting where that veteran does come from. You might get a name at a value price. And before we go into this, too, like Savage and asked me last week, what do you need for a good O-line? You need 3. You got to have 3. Probably a high-paid tackle, a good center, and at least one of your guards. That's how you really kind of construct it. You need 3 of the 5 to be go-getters like that. And if you get more than that, you're in a really good space.
So in that, are you assuming that Aaron Brewer moves to center if Ben Jones isn't back this year?
I'd much rather see him there because I kind of discount him a little bit. I'll be real with you because of his size, and I think most teams look at it like we'll upgrade it. I think that's something he's going to have to fight off for a very long time. If we're transitioning and Aaron Brewer earns it, I'd be okay with him only playing center. That's how I look at it. Yes, Will.
Okay.
So if you give me 2 dogs at guard and 1 extra tackle, yeah, I'm good with that one too.
Well, the Titans released 4 veterans yesterday. Robert Woods, Randy Bullock, Zach Cunningham, guys who had not been here quite as long, but Taylor Lewan outlasted a lot of players on this roster and in the two-tone blue, including a couple of general managers. As the team's first-round pick in 2014, before John Robinson was here at that point. I remember the day Taylor Lewan was drafted because all of us being me and my stupid friends, wanted Johnny Manziel at that pick. Absolutely.
Hopefully they're not your friends anymore.
Oh, they are. They are.
Hopefully they don't like Johnny Manziel anymore.
He prefaced it by saying stupid.
They kind of don't. But Taylor Lewan, in his time as a Tennessee Titan, will be remembered with the 3 Pro Bowls in a row, 106 career starts, including the playoffs, 2 ACL surgeries in 3 years. He's only played 20 games over the past 3 seasons. But when you talk about Taylor Lewan's legacy as a Tennessee Titan, what comes to mind?
Left tackles, only thing I think of, legitimately, for me.
Really?
Titans left tackle, yeah. Stability over there and run left. Those are my three that kind of gets me. And maybe mine is a little bit different than the way y'all tell us. Look at left tackle Titans. Pro bowler, run left.
Yeah, run left. For me as a media member, eccentric, never a dull interview, which in my business and TV side of things is always a good thing sometimes because we don't always have those great interviews. And a little bit inconsistent in terms of just being able to stay on the field.
Yeah.
But either you like him or you hate him type of thing. I feel like that was really the way that people looked at him as fans here. Like you either liked him or, I'm not going to use the word hate. That's too strong. You liked him or you didn't like him here. So as a media member, it was a little bit up and down, but it was refreshing sometimes to just know you could go in there and probably get a pretty honest answer from that guy.
Yeah. I say another one too amongst players was the video.
Which one? The one when he got the contract?
The one when he apologized for the 4 games. I ain't gonna lie to you.
The PED suspension.
Yeah, the PED
As
suspension.
players, we thought it was hilarious because it looked so script. It looked just like, dude, this is a Hollywood production. Like the fake tears, like, no. That video right there was hilarious.
That too,
yeah. He lost a lot of money, so I think I can joke on the back end by saying I thought it was hilarious that the video was what it was. That's just how I looked at it.
That's interesting perspective.
I think for Taylor, it's a complicated legacy.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's a good word.
Because I think he'll be remembered as much for the games he didn't play as the ones he did. And between the PED suspension, the injuries over the past 3 seasons, and his lack of availability down the stretch in big moments and big games, I think that's how Titans fans will remember the end of the Lewan career in Tennessee, because that's the last thing you have to go off of.
Yeah.
I also think you're going to remember the off the field and the penalties as much as you're going to remember the run left. But I think ultimately the thing that I can say about Taylor Lewan, and I think the thing that people who are the boys, and we'll say they're in his corner and call him dad, and the guys who didn't like him and are yelling from section 325, cut it out and just get back in the huddle. I think the thing all those people can agree on is Taylor Lewan helped make it cooler to be a Tennessee Titan.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And he embraced this city and this fan base as much as it embraced him when things were going right, at the very least. And I think that is something that you don't take for granted as a mid-market team and as a team that was not in a good spot in 2014.
Yeah.
Taylor Lewan was a part of the rebuild and retool to create a new brand and create the culture that Mike Vrabel wanted to implement within that locker room.
I agree.
And for that, I think you've got to celebrate what he was able to do here in Tennessee. Now, all that being said, the PED suspension is what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
The lack of availability over the last 3 seasons raises the question mark of should he even still have been on this team for 2022 and going into this season? Probably not. But again, when you miss on Isaiah Wilson, where else are you going to go?
It makes it even worse.
So, again, it's a complicated legacy. I think Titans fans should be grateful for the impact that he had on that locker room while still understanding that it's not a slam dunk that this guy is, remembered in one two-dimensional view. I think you've got to have a nuanced conversation when you talk about Lewan's time in Tennessee.
I'd say this, too. He's only 31.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, and I know some people, I hadn't seen him late, but some people say he's super small right now as far as this. Maybe
I've
he's
seen him
thinking
in
about
person.
retiring. You've seen him a little bit light for a left tackle.
Definitely.
What's crazy is he could play again if he wanted to. And I still think if we're talking about him playing all of last season and not getting injured again and, you play that role right there, he could be back asking for another contract too. Because it's so hard to find franchise left tackle. It just is.
With the Titans, you're saying.
Or for any team. Like I'd almost expect if he played the 17 this year, he'd be looking for a contract here in Nashville. And I think it would be best for the Titans if he had been healthy the entire year to re-sign him also. Because it's just so hard to find sufficient left tackles. It really is.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like he dealt with injuries. Injuries are not always, you can't just say that's your fault. But I think that because of the recent injuries, that kind of does a little bit in terms of the legacy on the field. Because I think when he was healthy and when he was out there, guys, he was really good at what he did. And I know he loves the game. I know he loves the game. He likes himself too, and he likes the entertainment part of things, but I'm not going to hate on someone's personality. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
But I think that the on the field play kind of got a little shadowed in the last couple of years just with the availability issues.
Yep. And I think especially not last year, but 2 years ago when Derek ran for 2,000, Taylor not being a part of that, I think that probably knocked him a little bit more. The availability in the last couple of years, I think, is the biggest knock on his career, for sure. No, one of the biggest knocks.
615-737-1045, our number. Eric in Nashville leads us off this morning. Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. A couple other things. Remember Taylor Lewan for whatever you think about him, guys. He was very, very gregarious and at times very, very jovial. I remember him with the whole boss hog thing when he got paid. That was kind of hilarious, too, guys. But also, of course, the flip side, of course, also remember for that incident that happened, I guess, the Saturday game against Washington, where he got into the sideline. So it's kind of a complete package. And sometimes you loved him or hated him, whatever you thought of him, because he was an interesting character, guys. Y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, the bow and arrow to Josh Norman was terrific.
Yeah.
That was honestly a pretty good moment.
That was, and he created all of that himself, Kayla, to your point. Like,
yeah,
I'll say this as a player too. Left tackle for the Titans. You know what that did? They gave the Titans a identity to me in that era in which it wasn't all great. Like I knew he was going to be a dog out there. That's what Taylor Lewan was to a player that was playing while he was
spitting in people's.
He was a dog out there. And for those reasons, T.J. Watt will not come on his podcast.
That's still crazy.
I can't believe Taylor even reached out to that man.
I know.
Accident. You spit on me, I'm gonna do all I can to at least make you unconscious. That's not what we're doing. Like
there are a lot of players
you don't do that.
He's had on Bussin' with the Boys that I've kind of cocked my head and said, like, that guy agreed to talk with Lewan on the record.
But that's the thing. He, to Kayla's point earlier, he's a showman. Like that's what he does. Like when the lights come on, that's the guy you get. We saw him at camp, real chill type dude. Like that's all you're gonna get. But when the lights is on, you get a different animal.
I think the interview he did on 3HL last year
was great.
Was really, really good.
Yeah.
It was about
phenomenal.
a half hour of explaining why he has no interest playing anywhere else, which kind of gives us the inside that it'll be interesting to see what that guy does next. Because from everything that he said, and again, you have to take him at his word because he is a showman and he is emotional about these things when he talks on the record to media or on his own podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that guy has had any interest in playing in another city for another organization. Now, the right amount of zeros on a check can change that pretty quickly, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But the guy probably doesn't have a ton of leverage going into free agency this offseason.
No, he doesn't. No. And you know what? Also, when you say you don't want to play for anybody else, you kill your market. Damn. His agent, if he's thinking about playing, is probably someone like, dude, shut up. We got to create a market here. But again, I identified the Titans' identity through Taylor Lewan and when he came on his team. Was CJ2K still here then? No. So it was Lewan that pretty much was the image of what I thought the Titans were. Yes.
Well, 100%. That's a good point from Ramon because at that point there was nobody.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it was
him and Jarrell.
It was a wasteland. At
I
that
swear
point.
we talk everything to existence.
Yeah, that's on. We're on Sports Center right now too.
Yeah, him and Jarrell. But he's got. I'm sure his podcast is monetarily fine to where he doesn't have to play football too. So that's the other side of Lewan.
I think he got paid enough that monetarily he didn't have to worry about it anyway.
Well,
beyond Bussin' with the Boys.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which is going to be a big time brand moving forward. If he retires.
Oh, yeah. He could put 100% of that.
Barstool is what? Just sold for the rest of Barstool is sold for $367 million, I think.
Yeah.
And that was for like 60% of Barstool.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard tweeted out, and I know some other guys did, never a dull moment being your teammate for 7 years, because, of course, together for quite a long time. He said, thanks for your leadership, wishing you the best and whatever comes next. I mean, even just mentioning the name leadership, I know we kind of like laugh a little of that, like Taylor being a leader. But honestly, I heard that from, many guys in there. It was a different type of leadership, but I think when he needed to get guys going, like you could count on him to do that.
But that's also to what Ryan Harris said yesterday too. You need that nasty one guy.
That's right.
And to me, Taylor was that one guy for this team on the offensive side of the ball. And again, like you said, his career and personality go from one end of the spectrum to the other. And it depends on how big of a fan you are of the Titans and of him to actually appreciate what he was.
So that's the difficult part now about where the Titans are at the offensive line position.
Ooh.
Is because if 80% of your line is new next year, like we just talked about with Rhett again yesterday, you've got to go through the difficult process of Nicholas Petit-Frere might be one of the elder statesmen of that unit.
Gosh.
Because you don't have a lot of money to spend on an old head right tackle. I mean,
You're right.
in the hypothetical where, hey, NPF, you've been in this system, you've been around here, you've played on both sides. In the hypothetical where you move him to left tackle, because it's easier to find a right tackle than a left, then you're talking about, okay, maybe it's a little bit easier to go pay a premium for a right tackle, whether that's with draft capital in the early rounds or through free agency. But you're going to need, whether it's Ben Jones, I'm starting to really expect Nate Davis isn't back at right guard. You need somebody in their upper 20s, lower 30s to be on this offensive line to be the old head. Badly.
I got some names in front of me that we could get to at some point. Well, it's good enough, but like I said, I think most of these guys are market value guys, or low value older guys. I think you can get something out of.
615-737-1045, our number. More of your phone calls coming up next, reacting to the first cuts for the Titans and their new general manager. And maybe the surprising cut yesterday is there a new kicker battle coming up this training camp. That's what gets the people going on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson for SpringHillAC.com. Kayla, I really don't know why I have on a sweatshirt today because it's supposed to get up to 80 degrees. You hear me?
Well, it's cold in here.
It's cold in here, and you need to be cold in your house, too. If you need your unit service, you got to reach out to Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Today is what we'll call a tester, Kayla. Just to turn on the AC unit and see if you need to have it just fix, service, or whatever, because it's supposed to be close to the 80s right now.
Ooh, I think all week we could probably do a testing situation with that. But you don't need to test out Spring Hill Heating and Cooling because you can trust them. They are family owned and operated, a company with over 20 years of experience. The family business is really known for their outstanding customer service. And you might ask us, well, why? Well, first of all, we've met them. I could say that. But it's not just a company reputation they can hide behind. It's their family reputation, Ramon. They put it all on the line every single day, rain, snow, sunshine, whatever it is. They deliver all the services that those bigger corporate guys offer, but they do it with delivery and friendliness of the family style.
And if you need service from them, please reach out to them at SpringHillAC.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon and Kayla sent you.
Check them out.
Thursday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. And stop the presses. There's a kicker competition in Tennessee.
Whoa.
So it gets the people going. Randy Bullock cut yesterday by the Tennessee Titans after going 17 of 20 on field goals in 2022. 28 of 28 on extra points. Enter Caleb Shudak, the heir apparent to the kicking throne, or lack thereof, for the Tennessee Titans. He was 3 of 4 against the Cincinnati Bengals last year.
They love him.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I know that if you get a young guy like that, or you just be ready to go. What year is this for Shudak? Just still is.
This would be year 2.
Year two.
Yeah. He was a rookie.
You want a lifer, man. And Kayla, they really enjoy him over at the building.
Yeah, they love him. I mean, he was undrafted. They saw something in him, brought him in, kept him on. He really, I felt like, looked extraordinary in camp. Like, we were even talking about, whoa, could he kick Randy off the throne? Clearly that didn't happen. But I mean, I think from what I've seen and what we've seen in terms of the confidence they have in him, he should be the guy.
Yeah.
He is really. We were talking about Randy. Talk about a guy with. I mean, he is short. And I'm not trying to be rude at all, but like, it's incredible. No, Shudak.
Oh.
I mean, even smaller than Randy. But man, the guy's got a boot on him.
He got a leg though. And that's what I was going to ask you too, as far as distance. Like, he's good for long distance. It's just straight throwing his whole body into that, man.
Put your back, do it.
I would rather get a veteran, personally.
You would?
You would?
I would.
Like who?
Robbie Gould.
Okay.
Robbie Gould, you got to pay for it though, too.
But that's the thing. Yeah, money.
I would rather have a veteran.
But
that position needs to be more stable than it's been under John Robinson.
I agree.
Much more stable.
I agree 100%.
I would much rather bring in a veteran and let Shudak stay on that practice squad because no one else is going to take him.
So do you have in your mind a certain position that you say young, old, not young guy at those positions? I'm just asking that you do. Kicker is one of them.
Kicker, I would rather have a veteran. Okay. After just watching what this team has been through, I want to spend for a veteran.
Oh, okay. I get that. But if I look at him and say he's had a calendar year of prepping himself, getting ready, the mental, maybe he traveled a little bit during the season here or there, and he was in the NFL system, I can roll with the rookie being in competition for the next year to see if he can win it out.
Competition
with a
is
street
fine.
vet. Maybe not Robbie Gould, but if you're paying for Robbie Gould, there's no Shudak.
But I feel like that's what Shudak was doing this last season.
And
they were preparing him for that.
For this year, for 23.
I kind of think that was the plan.
I see your stance on that, though, Will. That's very valuable.
I get it,
You've got a new GM, though. Like, John Robinson may have been preparing him for 23, but Rand Carthon didn't.
That's true, too.
But he's not going to pick every person. I mean, special teams.
And then you also got to look at what they see as the evaluation of the player, too. If the evaluation of him say he deserves a starting spot, I say you give it to him.
There still was, there was a priority in San Francisco to have veteran kicker. I mean, that's where he's coming from, is Robbie Gould.
Right. But he also did say that he's going to let Vrabel do some of his things.
Yeah.
And personnel-wise. And I don't know what Vrabel thinks about Shudak, because I don't know if that was a John thing or a...
Yeah, I'm actually okay with the young guy getting the go-ahead boots.
But you do need to test him in camp.
Yeah. And I think, to your point, he's been tested in camp, last year.
As much as Vrabel emphasizes special teams, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something he would rather spend a little bit more on than what has been spent in the past.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
You overstate kickers. They're very important.
Let's go to John in the Boroughs, 615-737-1045. Hey, John.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. John.
So with Taylor, I hate to see him go simply because, he's been a foundational piece of the organization since he's been here.
Mm-hmm.
And his level of fan engagement, he's kind of been the perfect foil for Vrabel, whereas Vrabel is hard-nosed and he's quiet and he doesn't talk a whole lot. Taylor was bombastic off the field. And he always wanted to have fun and always wanted the people around him to have fun. I thank him for all that he's done. To me, I think he is just as important and just as legendary in terms of just being on the Titans squad and what he's contributed to the Titans culture as Eddie George, Steve McNair, Munchak, like all of the legends, Wycheck, all of the legends that we have. I think he's just as important as those guys.
Oh, that's a very interesting stance right there, John.
Those guys played in a Super Bowl, though, is the thing. Like, John, I appreciate the kind of the sentiment on it. I disagree on equaling Eddie and Steve. I don't think Taylor was on a Titans team that was as good as like the second or third best team that Eddie and Steve had.
I would say he's welcomed in the room because he held down this franchise, but I also think there's a separate meeting in the back that he can't go through.
I mean, Steve won an MVP.
He know. Ain't no way. Like, he can't sniff munch.
Those two and
Matthews
are in their own. Mawai, too. I mean, those guys are in their
even
own.
Even Wycheck.
Yeah.
No, I say even Wycheck, but not even close to Wycheck.
John, I love you, but I'm not rolling with that one.
As a fan, maybe I can see them thinking because there was such a dull period of what the Titans were. They were not even existent to the other fans in the NFL. Like they were not getting any attention. They were bad. Let's just admit it. So maybe if you're a Titans fan and you look at it that way, like Taylor Lewan kind of, like we mentioned, helped get some attention, helped stabilize a little bit, help bring some positive stuff in terms of on the field play and kind of getting attention out there about the two-tone blue. I can see that maybe playing into some of the reason why fans might think that, but I'm not going to put him up there with those guys.
Yeah. That's what I said. John, you got me going with that. I was like, I don't know
right,
about
John.
that one, John. That's fair on his opinion. Yeah, I'd love to hear more of that.
Coming up next, more salary cap numbers, the space the Titans have to work with after making 4 veteran cuts yesterday. We reset the news of the day of the National Football League that's here in Nashville. For Rand Carthon and your Tennessee Titans. That's next as Hour 2 begins on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster from My PhD Weight Loss. Listen to me. Today I actually have my weekly consultation with my coach Rachel today. We'll go through what I got. I actually got a new shipment of food in yesterday too. It's just been a really good process for me. Down over 50 pounds, good people, and feeling really good about that. If this is something you've been thinking about, trying to get yourself together and needing a plan, I have the people for you. They are My PhD Weight Loss, where on average most men lose between 3 to 5 pounds a week, and female clients lose 2 to 3 pounds a week. This company isn't just your wayside type of company. Also, they also have major collegiate franchises with them. Also on the college level, ACC, SEC, those types of teams. So it's not just a you thing. These people are proven, and they've proven through me. Got me feeling real good about myself and my weight loss as of late. If this is something you've been thinking about, bothering you, trying to figure out what's your next move, go to My PhD Weight Loss. Again, that's myphdweightloss.com, and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
7:02. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. The Tennessee Titans made several cuts on Wednesday to get under the league salary cap. The team released left tackle Taylor Lewan, wide receiver Robert Woods, linebacker Zach Cunningham, and kicker Randy Bullock. Cunningham and Lewan were released with failed physical designations. The Titans cleared nearly $38 million in cap space with those roster moves. For Lewan, it marked the end of a 9-year career in the two-tone blue, highlighted by 3 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances from 2016 through 2018, but he was hampered by injuries and made only 20 starts in his final 3 seasons. College basketball, Alabama's Brandon Miller, former Cane Ridge High School star, scored a career-high 41 points, including the game-winning layup in overtime as the Tide beat South Carolina 78-76. LSU defeated Vanderbilt 84-77. The loss snapped the Doors' 5-game winning streak. Belmont defeated Indiana State 89-88. The Bruins rallied from a 19-point deficit to win in the biggest comeback in Curb Event Center history. College baseball yesterday, 2 blowouts. Number 3 Tennessee routed Texas A&M 23-1, and number 10 Vanderbilt cruised by UAB 13-1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 off and running. Thursday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will with the head coach of Titans Radio coming up in just a couple of minutes. That's Coach Dave McGinnis.
Wow.
As always, we're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors with our 11-year NFL veteran, our capitalized J journalist, to the best producer in the world, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Jonathan Schaefer.
The best producer in the world.
I'm Will Bowling as we take a look at the cap numbers and the space the Titans have now to spend on a number of positions, including potentially the running back position.
I know. Don't say that too loud,
Those
man.
2 words.
Running and back in succession of one another.
They're running it back. That's
Maybe not 22.
I know.
Or if it, at the very least, an outside zone guy that can catch passes like Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, and Christian McCaffrey did for Rand Carthon's San Francisco 49ers.
What if he end up rebuilding this thing to that type of level? You willing to be patient like that? Because San Fran was holding the back end of the league for a very long time,
Sure
man,
were.
for a few years before they got to this point.
And that's how they got Trey Lance, too.
I know, and that's what that sucks as a fan. That sucks for us. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just that's a tough place to be, to kind of watch it crawl back to being dominant. But San Francisco's very dominant right now. And this is the other thing, too. I think it's fair to separate. And I think Rand would probably tell us it's like, hey, I don't take all the credit for this. We were all in the building making these collaborations together. But that's a portion of it is like, yeah, he saw the method of it actually happening. And that's where you got to be encouraged as a Titans fan to kind of believe in that a little bit.
615-737-1045 is our number, and Mike in Clarksville is up next with us this morning. Hey, Mike.
Good morning, RK Dub. What's good? And the best producer in the world.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike. How are you?
Mike.
Mike, been a while,
Good.
man.
Man, hey, I had twin girls, man, so I've been busy.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. So they've been taking up a lot of my time, but just best believe they're going to be Titan fans, I think. But,
God bless you.
See, that's how you know you have girls. You said, I think. The girls do what they want to.
man, that's what I'm learning. They do what they want when they want, and they don't care how you feel. If it's 1 o'clock in the morning, they want that file.
That's right.
I ain't got no choice. But it's been a journey, man. But yes, just unraveling some things and catching back up with my Titans. So you know me, I come with the hard-hitting question. All right. So Robert Woods, did we truly utilize Robert Woods like we were supposed to? That's one. Two, Derrick Henry being 29. Do you think that Ron is like, okay, we're going to head in another direction? Will this team be built around Derrick Henry next year? Three, Ryan Tannehill, still under contract. Are you going to restructure that thing and have him on a 2-year deal? And then 4, with Malik Willis, do we honestly believe that this kid is going to be the Titans quarterback of the future? Or do you see us in about 2 years going with somebody else?
Thank you for the call, Mike.
That's how you maximize a call right there.
All right, bullet point 1.
Bullet point 1 was
Did the Titans maximize Robert Woods?
Robert Woods.
Absolutely not.
Nope. Absolutely not. Nope. Mm-mm.
This offense wouldn't allow it, though, either.
They maximized him in blocking.
And blocking. And I think that was the biggest selling point of it all when he first was signed last year, right? It's like, oh, he's going to be able to block in this offense. And you didn't get much of any production out of Robert Woods.
But Robert Woods also thought he was going to be a number 2 receiver on a team that had A.J. Brown.
Correct.
Very correct.
And
Which would have been cool to see.
Even beyond that, I think Robert Woods at this point in his career, correct me if I'm wrong, is a good wide receiver 3 for a contending team.
For a contending team.
I would agree.
Yes, I would agree. I'd say this: it would what Jackson, if he went to Jacksonville and you said, yeah, they got a good squad,
right?
100% will I ride with that.
And even Buffalo, like I know Bills fans have, and Bills fans will flock to anything on social media
because they'll donate to your charity.
Tons of them, and they're loud, but they will essentially say, anytime a wide receiver becomes available, Buffalo.
They're harmless. They break their own tables.
You put that guy behind Stephon Diggs, then you're talking about a guy that could have 700 yards next year. I think that's where he was not utilized here is if you're putting him behind Traylon Burks and A.J. Brown, you're cooking with gas now.
That's what I'm saying. And of course, the passing game coordinator that ended up going to the Jets, I mean, they didn't really draw up much for him. It's Todd Downing, legitimately. That was a little dig right there. I'll take that one. But
taking a dig at your boy. What are you doing?
Look.
He's not a DA anymore, not a Downing advocate.
If we take shots at each other, I mean, outside of this room, you're going to catch this hot heat, okay? Exactly.
Bullet point 2.
Bullet point 2, Derrick Henry, 29. Do you build a team around him again?
I think
I'm going to let y'all go first. Y'all know where I'm at.
I think at this point, the more and more that I hear opinions of guys like, what did we talk to yesterday? Ryan Harris a little bit.
Ryan Harris.
Who else? Rhett.
Rhett.
So I'm interested to see if we hear anything from Coach Mack on that today. I know we're going to talk a little bit of draft with him, but the more I'm hearing this and I know what's available in the draft in terms of running backs, now you could probably get one even a little bit deeper.
Steep class.
Yep. I almost say if this is the time to start cutting ties to some of those guys that have been here for a while, maybe this is the time to cut ties with the king. And I hate to say that because I have grown to really respect the heck out of Derrick Henry and what he's done. Because it didn't start well here, guys. I watched him the first 2 years where it wasn't good for him. And I saw the Eddie George situation, how he came out of that, and I give him a lot of credit for what he's done and coming back from that injury. But at some point, it is a business. And if this is what the Titans are looking at doing is reshifting, you got to do it now.
One more year.
One more year.
One more year.
That's where
So Tannehill and him, one more year.
Both of them for one more year to transition to whatever is next for this franchise while still preparing for what is next to the running back position by spending a day 2 pick on a secondary all-purpose running back like Zach Charbonnet or Tajay Spears, who's a little less two-dimensional, but I think you go one more year for Derrick.
Okay. You're not worried about the value or anything?
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's your offense, and I think Mike Vrabel is going to continue to tie himself to that guy. When he makes comments like the difference between us and everyone else is we've got a Derrick Henry and they don't, I think you're going to see this team double down on that and say, let's get offensive linemen that are new and fresh and better who are going to make him closer to his best self at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, let's get to the other 2 bullet points quickly here before we go to break. Get to Coach Mack.
Ryan Tannehill.
He's still here.
He's still here.
He's still here.
That one I'm not
That's a
even gonna
conversation
argue
we talked about having at a later date, too.
Yep.
Between the two. And then Malik. Do you let him ride for 2 years and then you figure out he's not the guy?
I don't.
I don't think he's
I
the
don't think
guy
he's the guy.
this year moving forward. That's me. I'm willing to make that hot take right now, and I'll stand on it if I'm wrong. But I don't think he's going to be the guy moving forward from what we saw and just how much he has to go to grow in this league. This team doesn't have the patience unless you're trying to tank.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go to Greg in Rhode Island, 615-737-1045. Hey, Greg.
Greg?
Good morning, guys. I got a working conspiracy theory here. So Ryan Tannehill tweeted a congratulations tweet to Taylor Lewan last night that has since been deleted. And my theory is he pulled an A.J. Brown and deleted it because Taylor Lewan is coming back at a lower number. I can't wrap my head around why else he would delete the tweet. I mean, in the tweet he said that he loved playing with them, although his antics drove him nuts, so it's a little bit of a backhanded compliment. But why else would Tanny delete that? Unless he's out the door, too. I don't know.
Huh.
Thank you, Greg.
Can I add something real quick?
Go ahead.
You may.
Take anything you read on social media at face value.
Just throw it into the sun.
That was Ryan Tannehill's tweet,
Yeah.
which I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone? Oh, wow.
Take any of that stuff at face value.
No, Shafe, we will not take it at face value. I want to dive into it and be sad and happy and upset all in the same emotions.
You know what? Fine. I'm not going to try to help you. Yeah.
He tweeting delete, though? No.
You want to go through that emotional mire for no reason? Please, feel free.
Well, we are Vol fans, so, we...
Look, I know you
Hit him
hate
with it,
yourself.
Will.
There's
We
nothing
were
you can do
born
about
in
it.
it, man.
I can't help that you guys load
can't
yourself.
hurt us anymore.
I can't do anything about that.
Bad man is gone.
That does question. Why would he delete that other than the backhanded side of it?
I think the backhanded part, if I had to guess. He kind of rethought it. I don't want to make this moment about quote-unquote antics. Let me rephrase this and have a better statement.
Moan, I'm trying to figure out athletes and why they do or don't do stuff on social media. Think about that statement for a second, Ramon.
Yeah.
Remember when you tweeted out the Celsius, just fishing out there when people were like, "Where are you?
Hashtag recharged.
Why aren't you here?"
Yeah. And Robert Woods just tweets out free.
Well, that's
exclamation point.
First time he's been free of a defense all season.
Oh,
Coming up next,
no.
Coach Dave McGinnis, the head coach of Titans Radio, joins us. Our weekly conversation with Coach Mack as we dive into running back prospects on days 1, 2, and 3, because there will be a first round back. The Titans use a high pick on Bijan Robinson. Who's to say? Coach Mack on the other side. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
I choose violence.
High energy this morning on a Thursday, maybe just a Friday junior. On Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, and the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen for us. And this music always brings the energy up, as is the man it accompanies. Coach Dave McGinnis, presented as always by our friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans. As we go to the Mark Spade Real Estate Hotline and bring in Coach Mack. Good morning, Coach Mack. How are you?
Hey, well, you're right. Jonathan Schaefer is one hell of a producer. I'm glad you say that.
The best producer in the world.
You know what? And that's one of the best. That's one of the best hits that right there on the radio that you guys have, because it is the absolute truth.
Yes, sir.
It's the truth, Mac. And we so glad to have you with the intro. Kayla and I were in here vibing as Will was doing the intro.
Don't change the subject. He's loving on me. Let him love on me. Let me bask in my glory.
Sound like a young rookie right there.
You know what? It's a good thing there's a glass separate.
Yes.
That's true. It's always a good thing. Coach Mack, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage with an affordable price tag? Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. So, Coach Mack, we're going to dive into some of the running backs in the NFL draft. But before we do that, just wanted to get your reaction to the moves made by Rand Carthon yesterday and the business side of the league for four veterans. A tough day for them and a day of transition for the Tennessee Titans.
Well, guys, I mean, it's no surprise to you, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the reconstructing of this roster is why Rand Carthon is here. I mean, this league is cyclical, but this is the harsh reality of the National Football League, and it's especially the harsh reality and the brick wall that the salary cap is, because sooner or later, all of you guys have been involved, I'm sure, with credit cards in your life, and have had younger people with credit cards. Look, it comes due. And so when it does, I mean, there's a day of reckoning, and that's where we are now. But it's no surprise to anybody, and I think any of the candidates that made it to the second level of interviews with Amy Adams Strunk and with Mike Vrabel and with the Titans brass, this was something that was talked about a lot. So this was inevitable to this point, and now is the correct timing to start doing this, because you're going into a new talent acquisition system. But before you know that, you've got to know how much money you have available, and they did not have any money available. Shafe is my money guy there for I mean the numbers, and to me, you knew they were up against it, and not only up against it, but over the cap. And so this is the way you start, and they're not done yet.
And, Mac, when you make these type of moves as early it is, and I'll say this because we're going to talk about some players at the Combine in a little bit, but this kind of preps you for what the offseason is as far as filling these positions kind of early on too, Coach?
Yeah, well, it's not too early to do this. This was the first thing that had to happen, within, as I said, the reconstruction of this roster, because that's priority number one, right now. And so this is exactly the right time to do this, and there will be more coming. But when you've got an off season like the Titans are in right now, and you're going to have to redo your roster, and you were over the salary cap, you've got to be able to get that stuff cleared first, at least going forward, in conjunction with, I mean, you don't just stop one thing and then begin another, but it has to flow into, you're going into the Combine, you're going to have the legal tampering period coming up very, very soon. All of that stuff, you can't do any of that stuff without money, all right? And so that's where they are right now. The salary cap has gone up this year, but it didn't go up enough to take over the 20-something million or whatever they were over. So this is, guys, this league is a great, great game. And it's given me a beautiful life, for half of my adult life, but it's also a brutal business. Mm-hmm. And this is part of it.
Coach Mack, as we look at possible running back targets in the NFL draft, we do some of these hypothetically if the Titans decide to move on at the running back position. And you talk about the other moves this team has to make. In the first round, Bijan Robinson, Coach Mack, is all-purpose, and Rhett Bryan spoke very highly of him yesterday when we had this discussion. What do you see on film from him? How much of a plug-and-play, all-purpose guy is Bijan Robinson in the National Football League?
Yeah, he is. I think. Will, going with the running backs is that, to me, there are two guys that are in the conversation for a first round pick, depending on what your roster wants. And I think Bijan Robinson is at the top of this list, and then depending on where your franchise is as to how high he would go, I don't see Bijan Robinson being a top 5 pick, but a first round pick. I think he to me is the top of this list. The next guy being Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama. Those two guys, I think, are 1-2 when you start in the pecking order of this. But Bijan Robinson, in my humble opinion, is the number one back in this draft.
With the emergence now back to the running back position, and I say that respectfully because I don't think it's ever gone anywhere, but these running backs these days, Coach, coming out, they got to be versatile in being able to run the ball primarily, but what about the skill set side now shown at the combine, Coach? The ability to show that they got hands and their college tapes show that they can run a good bit of the route tree. How important is that now?
Well, here, Ramon, let's talk about that a minute, because that's a very salient point, because we're going to the combine. Look, some of these running backs on this list that I have here, I've got 10 guys on this list that I think would be, through the third round.
Yeah.
Again, looking at it. But some of these guys have already shown that they can catch the ball on their collegiate tape. Some of them have not. And so when you go to the combine, especially in the several drills that they do, specifically not only being able to run a route, but also being able to locate a ball, catch the ball away from their hands, catch the ball, going across laterally, catch the deep ball, find the ball over their shoulder. All of those drills that they do there, for the guys that have not demonstrated that a lot in their collegiate tape, that have the requisite skills to be a running back in this league, and probably to come into this league, to be a running back, that starts out. Most running backs that are going to be at this combine, Ramon, have shown they can run the ball, or they wouldn't be there.
Coach. Go on.
But finding out who can catch the football, that's a big part of it, because a lot of them may be able to do it, but weren't asked to do it in their collegiate game.
So how enticing is this running backs class in terms of just how deep it goes for the Titans? Like, if you are Ran Carthon and Mike Vrabel, how much are you looking at one of these guys maybe a little bit further down?
Well, they'll look at everybody. I mean, they'll look at everybody. I mean, that regardless of where you are, with your roster at any point, you always thoroughly go through every position. Because now the National Football League, with rosters being as fluid as they are because of free agency, and all of these guys will be free after 4 years, regardless of what happens, any type of iteration in their career. So you're going to look at every position as if you need every position, every draft as deep as you have to go. Everybody's got 3 or 4 boards in their draft room with various, people you got the front board, you've got the first day board, you got the second day board, you've got your high priority free agent boards, you got your back board where some people are going to be taken that you never had rated as high. But to answer your question, every draft you go through every position all the way to the bottom. And so, they'll do that just like, every other team will. But you want to talk about some first day, or from the first 2 days, all right? Because that's what you want to look at right now. Ramon's going to be involved in it. We're doing a deep draft show with Titans Radio live for 2 days, and so Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, are the top 2. The next guys are depending now. Now it really gets into specific flavors that you would want. Devon A. Shane from Texas A&M, is a 5'9", 185-pound guy that is a legit Texas relays guy. I mean, legit home run, scary type speed. Zach Charbonnet from UCLA, bigger back, 6'1", 224. I'm kind of going in the order, that I kind of think people will look at him and they have traits that stick out. Tank Bigsby from Auburn. I mean, this is a good back. 6 foot, 215 pounds. Roshan Robinson from Texas. This is a legitimate back in the league that was in the shadow of Bijan Robinson, at Texas, but is a really good back. Ty J. Spears from Tulane. If Rhett Bryan's listening, he's smiling on this.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
He loves Ty J. Spears, and there's a reason for Tulane. 5'10", 204. Really did a nice job of proving that he had come back off of a knee injury, had a really nice year, stuck out. You guys were at the Senior Bowl. He kind of stuck out there. Zach Evans from Ole Miss. Nobody talks about him much. He's a back that has a lot of traits that you really like. Eric Gray, that's at Oklahoma now, former Vol. I mean, you liked what he did, throughout his career. So he's got something to give. And then Kendra Miller, kid from TCU,
Frog,
that was hurt, was not able to play the national championship game. Probably could not have made up a 50-point difference, but. So those are kind of some guys there. Those are 10 guys kind of off, going through my list, looking at them. So there's going to be choices that you can have, for the Titans or for anybody that wants to look at it. But they're there.
What's the difference for you guys covering the Senior Bowl, which, like you said, we were down at with you guys, and then the Combine? Like, how's that different for you guys coverage-wise, Coach?
Well, it's a completely different event. A completely different event because, you guys are at the Senior Bowl. And so, we can, tell all our listeners, the Senior Bowl is really about, you get to watch them practice football. You get to watch them practice football. You get to interview them, but the interview process at the Senior Bowl is not what it is at the Combine because there were 120 something players at the Senior Bowl, correct?
Yes.
With guys, coming in, going. There's 319 players at the Combine. So it's a week-long process. It's very orderly, and it is completely different. And then when they're on the field, they're down on the floor. I worked the line. I was on the floor working the linebackers for the first 6 or 7 years of my coaching career. So it's different. You're putting them through football, football specific drills, but they're not playing football down there. And, then the medical part of it. It's a completely different environment than what the Senior Bowl is. The Senior Bowl is first of all, you've got some guys that are there. It is a Senior Bowl, so you don't have any, non-seniors down there. So to answer your question as best as I can, it's two completely different events, completely different.
Coach Mack with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. And I love mentioning Devin Achane, and we spent a lot of time on yesterday, Coach Mack, and the fact that dude ran a wind-aided 10.04 100-meter dash last year at the Texas Relays that you mentioned. But he also, Coach Mack, returned 20 kicks in college and averaged more than 31 yards per return and had 2 returns for touchdowns. Just how much value does that guy give you as a receiver and a returner in addition to just being a running back?
There's one thing you can't do in sports. You can't manufacture speed.
Right.
It's hard. There's 2 things you can't manufacture. It has to. It has to come from birth. Speed and size. Okay. And this kid. Look, you get into you're a track guy. You get into the Texas Relays, you're fast to begin with.
That's right.
Okay, and this guy stood out among all of them. When Texas A&M thought they'd really, gotten a big coup when they got that kid to come to A&M because he just, speed like that doesn't come around often. Now, it's in a 5'9", 185-pound package that you look at, but you ask me what can that do for you? You got somebody that can run like that. Everybody takes notice.
Certainly, and at 10:04, that's a little wild. I wanted to ask you too about Eric Gray, and I was interested in watching him at the Senior Bowl and just how much bigger that guy looks than when he was at Tennessee.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're right. It looked to me like he matured physically.
Yeah, he did.
You watched him out there. he's a jump cut guy anyway. He's a real strong lowers guy, got great contact balance, but he looked really strong down there to me. And really, I mean, you guys tell me, you guys are down there watching it too. I mean, I thought he and Ty J. Spears kind of stood out above everybody down there, with Roshan Robinson being the next one. But Eric Gray was impressive down there. And I remember watching Eric Gray. I went and watched him, when he was come in here from Memphis and played there at CPA. I was sitting with Doug Matthews. We watched him, on a really rainy, muddy field. Every time he touched the ball, the CPA fans held their breath because, this guy's going to be a good player in this league. It just depends on where you want to pick him.
The pride of Lausanne Collegiate School in Memphis. Not a bad guy at all. Coach Dave McGinnis, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans, with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will for 76 years, I should say. Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau Health Plans for their health care coverage, better rates, better coverage, and better service. And the best analysis coming, as always, from Coach Mack. Coach, appreciate the time, as always.
Guys, always enjoy starting off Thursday morning with you guys. See you. Have a good day.
See you,
Coach.
Coach.
There's Coach Mack with us this morning, and good insight on a number of running backs who, just talking about 10 by the third round.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I can see it.
A lot of speed.
Yeah. I was going to say Tajay Spears. Legitimately, he's going to be very interesting. If you can get Jahmyr Gibbs on your team.
Sure. I'm now kind of talked into this class. Give me a running back.
Oh, I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I hated him as a Bama player, but I love the idea of being able to help this team here if that's the route they want to go. What would he be, second round?
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah.
Late first, early second.
Late first, early second, I would agree.
I take that.
Couple of guys you could get on day 2 at the running back position. I want to highlight when we come back who are all-purpose backs. And I feel like there's actually a luxury this year in this class of day 2 running backs who aren't just going to be pass catchers and returners. I think there are some guys that can run between the tackles on day 2 of the NFL draft this spring. That's next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
All right, it is time to talk about Belmont Bruins basketball with Coach Bart Brooks. Big game tonight against Northern Iowa, and then Drake on Saturday. And your ladies, they're rolling right now, Coach.
Well, Kayla, it's that time of year. It's a week away from March, and I think we're playing our best basketball, and we're playing against 2 of the best teams in our league this weekend. So this should be an unbelievable test and a great environment and opportunity to play some really meaningful ball here at the end of the year.
Yeah, this is the time to get it going, and you definitely want to go check out these ladies. Bruin fans, single game tickets on sale right now, so make sure to stop by the ticket office or go online and purchase at BelmontBruins.com. Do not miss out on all the free giveaways, all the promotions all season long. Get in there. You can text someone. They'll text you right back, and you can call 615-460-2255 or visit BelmontBruins.com. Belmont basketball. It's Bruin time. Good luck today, Coach.
Thanks, Kayla.
It's about Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. It's Baby You My Everything. You've all I ever wanted. We could do it real big. Bigger than you've ever... Okay, sorry. It's a good song.
He can't help himself.
He can't.
It's one of my favorite songs. Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
Need
Ramon
to collab
Foster,
with
Kayla
Drake.
Anderson, and Will Bowling.
You're so white.
Best I ever had. Best I ever had.
Oh, boy.
I said, you the best. Anyway.
I love that you are rapping in old-timey news anchor voice.
Yeah.
9 and 10. It's the best
Very
I
new.
ever had.
There you go, Will.
Film at 11.
You were born 50 years too late.
70. I would have been great in the roaring 20s.
Me too. I would have wanted to live. I would
747.
love to live in the 20s.
I'll tell you who wouldn't have. Me.
Heck.
You're in
yeah.
your roaring
Oh,
20s
that's
right
true.
now.
I guess.
Yeah, you are in the roaring 20s.
If you'd been in the roaring 20s, you would have been in a Great Depression in more ways than one. 615-737-1045, our number.
I'll pass on. I like these roaring 20s. So, do I like these
The
roaring
style.
20s? The style.
The style was
The
on
style?
point.
Yeah, the style was
Are you
on point.
kidding?
The cars were
And
more
the
dangerous.
beverages.
Well, also
like-
the medicine.
The medicine.
Good Lord.
Okay.
You mean the secret ingredient in the can of Coke?
Yeah. Or cough syrup.
We got enough speakeasy bars in Nashville. We can kind of act like we're in the
Hey,
roaring
Mom,
20s.
that
Yeah.
tussin? That was different
That was
tussin.
different. That was an addictive tussin. Y'all go to speakeasies around the city?
Yeah.
Just
You
yeah.
do? You
I got a-
do?
I got a
No,
couple.
I don't. I went to one in Miami though.
Yeah. Pretty legit.
They're a good time.
It's cool.
Speakeasies are considered what? Where you can smoke in them?
No, speakeasies are considered like there's no sign out front and you can't tell it's a bar unless you go in and you like see there's a bar here.
I thought speakeasies were known as a bar that you don't speak of that was able to be smoked inside of it. So that's not true?
No, it was like a speakeasy was what in Prohibition when you couldn't drink and you
Yeah.
would go to a secret place to drink.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily smoking.
Just like a chiller vibe, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So speakeasies aren't supposed to be known by everybody?
Right.
Okay.
They kind of pick certain people.
So
that-
I can't ask you on air about what speakeasy
No.
you go to.
So-
It's giving you the vibe of an old like 1920s
Yes.
speakeasy.
Basically,
kind of dark.
the place you're looking to apply to that we won't name right now, Ramon, because hashtag
Yes.
no free ads,
Right, right,
that's
right.
a speakeasy.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
speakeasy.
Okay.
Like Old
Okay.
Glory over on like in around Wedgwood and Belmont. Like Old Glory is my favorite speakeasy bar in Nashville.
Do they have the right to not let you in?
No.
It's not that type of
No.
place. Okay.
You just go in
But
and
you
it's like
gotta know.
it's like underground.
Ah.
Literally. It's a really good spot.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Didn't know. Okay.
A special announcement this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will
Uh-oh.
as we give the floor to Kayla Anderson
yeah.
for some very exciting news.
I'm really excited about this, guys. So I've spent many years in sports, as you know, been in 7 different cities, but I've been in here in Nashville the longest, which is crazy to think about. So I've been here 6 years, and it's always been a mission of mine, to give back in some way. And I just never really was there, right? It wasn't my time. And so when I was presented this opportunity a few months ago, I said, I'm absolutely doing this. And so I had the privilege to be nominated as a candidate for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. The LLS is what you might know it as. It's the 2023 Nashville Visionaries of the Year campaign. So what we're doing, guys, is it kicks off today, which is really, really exciting, and it runs through May 6th. And we're helping raise money to help blood cancer patients survive and then thrive after treatment. We're also raising awareness for education. Cancer has hit my family, some of my friends. It hits hard. It hits close to home. And I just want to do something to make a difference. So this is what I'm doing. And so I'm asking the listeners, you all here, to help me out. And let's raise money and let's get some research done. Let's help these patients. This is a great cause. They've been doing great work, not just here in Nashville, but all over the country for many, many years. And I just appreciate them allowing me to help them out, spread the news and get the donations going. So let's do this thing, guys.
That's huge. I'll definitely do my part to help out for sure, Kayla. And I just got to commend you, too. Anybody that takes on a cause like that, I've never been the one to have my own because I know the work that's got to go into
Yeah.
it, and I knew how busy I could be. And I never wanted it to go to the wayside. And for you to pick that up, that's overly commendable, Kayla. And for sure, you got my support.
Love it. Great cause for Kayla Anderson, and looking forward to supporting her through this journey, and excited.
Yeah. And stay tuned. We'll have
It'll be
some
fun.
events coming up.
Let's do
So
it.
we're going to be bidding on tickets, and we'll have some cool stuff. So stay tuned throughout the next couple of months. It should be cool. It should be an event. We're going to have fun with it, right?
Phenomenal. Absolutely, Kayla. I'm here for that.
Looking forward to that, and we will keep you updated on the way the show will support Kayla, the way you can help us support Kayla, and have some fun in the process.
No doubt. That's the best way to do it.
Coming up next, second half of the show, Robert Woods' statement on being released.
Short.
Will's reply.
Short and sweet. To the point yesterday. A little bit shorter than Taylor Lewan's. Just like his tenure as a Tennessee Titan. Coming up next as Hour 3 begins, it's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
7:59. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Tennessee Titans made several cuts on Wednesday to get under the league's salary cap. The team released left tackle Taylor Lewan, wide receiver Robert Woods, linebacker Zach Cunningham, and kicker Randy Bullock. Cunningham and Lewan were released with failed physical designations. The Titans cleared nearly $38 million in cap space with those roster moves. For Lewan, marked the end of a 9-year career in the two-tone blue, highlighted by 3 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances from 2016 through 2018, but he was hampered by injuries and made only 20 starts in his final 3 seasons. College basketball yesterday, LSU defeated Vanderbilt 84-77. The loss snapped the Doors' 5-game winning streak. Belmont defeated Indiana State 89-88. Bruins rallied from a 19-point deficit to get the win in the biggest comeback in Curb Event Center history. Lady Vols in action tonight. Tall Task hosting number 1 and undefeated South Carolina. 6 o'clock the tip for that. College baseball yesterday. Number 3 Tennessee routed Texas A&M 23-1. Number 10 Vanderbilt cruised past UAB 13-1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning edition and halftime of the show on a show that gets better in the second half. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up in hour 3, Bryant McFadden, our friend from CBS Sports, gives us the national perspective on all the moves the Titans made yesterday. B-Mac will join us coming up in just about 20 minutes. And at 8:45, a man representing an event that is one of my favorites in Nashville. The president and COO of the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, Jason Rittenberry, will join us coming up at 8:45 as well. 615-737-1045 is the number with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer.
The best producer in the world! Of the world, Craig. The world.
I'm Will Bowling.
His name is Will Bowling.
There it is. Kayla reeled them all like run it. Will Bowling.
Hit that.
It's actually funny. Whenever Vanderbilt fans tweet at me, this is the sound they hear in the back of their head. It's great. Inspiring minds on Twitter.com, as always. 615-737-1045. Thank you for the intro, Jonathan Schaefer.
No doubt, man. It's what he does every once in a while.
Look at Ramon trying to stir up the chat.
What'd I do? I ain't even do nothing.
He said, "Where's Vandy Eli?"
Yeah, he had a whole lot
We've
of
got
trash.
a Vanderbilt fan in the chat.
Yeah.
No. It's receipts time for him.
It's receipts time.
And
What?
Vandy Eli came in here the other day.
Yeah. Go ahead,
after
break
the
it down.
Volunteers lost and was making his presence known. And so Ramon's now coming back because, as you know, last night Vanderbilt suffered a loss to LSU.
Took a L choose violence. Night. Yeah. They took a L. Of course, this happens, and I just want to keep receipt. I just want the.
Y'all are so funny and petty on this thing.
You keep receipts, Kayla. I got a notification that Bud Dupree is keeping the receipts of people that want him cut too. So
Bud liking tweets. So
you will not find me in that category.
Yeah, really.
I like Bud.
I
know
like Bud
I know
too.
he was injured, but man, when he's out there, even when he practices, that dude is like, he gives his all.
And Will brought up a great point in the 6 o'clock hour about if you the idea of who to keep, who to release, because everybody's alluding to the fact to. I meant to bring that up. Even Coach Mack today in his call kind of said there's more to come as far as cuts. And I'll just my personal stance on this, y'all let me know where y'all at. When Coach Mack and Rhett make these type of conversations known to the public, I tend to listen a little bit harder. I don't know where these cuts are coming from or who they are, but there's a lot of going on right now.
I think so too.
There are more moves to make when you consider you have to replace these guys you just cut also, and you've got to add enough to surround this offense and surround Ryan Tannehill with better weapons than last year, because the lack of weapons is what caused you to lose as many games as you did and miss out on the AFC South. And that's a larger discussion for tomorrow's show that we're going to kind of bookmark now is with all these changes that are happening, what's a realistic expectation now for Ryan Tannehill? Because now you're looking at an offensive line that might have 80% new starters.
Sure.
2 new receivers at the very least. Possibly a new tight end if you don't decide to continue on with Austin Hooper. So who are you going to complement Chigakonkwo with, who can block on the early downs? So a lot of question marks still for this team. And I think you could see more changes just coming from guys retiring as well. And we don't know what the status of Ben Jones is moving forward. So there's I know Taylor Lewan saw people tweeting yesterday. He mentioned on his podcast, Bussin' with the Boys, that he thought the Titans were going to cut Ben Jones as well.
He mentioned that?
He did. Ooh. And no more update on Ben's status, of course, in an official capacity with the Titans. But, I mean, the moves made yesterday were the first moves on the checklist. As we looked at the money situation going forward into this offseason, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the only one that maybe surprised us was Randy Bullock.
Yeah.
I was a little shocked by that one.
I didn't really think that was going to happen, at least right now.
Not right now.
Right?
You're right to your point. And I thought, I didn't know when Cunningham's was going to happen either.
Well, but you knew that was coming. I'm not even going to go there because I don't have nice things to say. So I'm just not going to go
you refrain from saying anything. That's usually the best bet.
Be a pro.
But yeah, Zach being cut, I didn't expect it yesterday, and it's also Keith. And I did tweet out yesterday the definition of, not Keith.
Keith Bullock.
Keith. I don't.
Keith, my bad, dog. I make you more than a linebacker. You're now a kicker. Keith Bullock, the kicker.
Keith and Bully.
And I just have the red gloves. He'd have the red cleats.
I know.
Kicker.
And I can't ever slander Keith either because he's a VAA. He says the Vols are all right.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm a VAA. I'm one of those that thinks the Vols are all right.
That's right.
So the no slander for Keith.
I love how Jonathan Schaefer's like in a conversation in the studio and just knew to just, hey, let's just hit that button real quick. Keep on going.
The best producer in the world.
That's right.
Then he drops that button.
He's humble.
Randy, I didn't expect, and Cunningham, I knew it was going. And like I said, I dropped that rebuild conversation. Then I started looking at this Titans roster as far as what they have too already. And I put in our group chat, and this is my personal opinion of what you have and don't have this year. Give me one quick second, and I'll go through it. Quarterback check mark with a question. Is that how y'all look at Tannehill's situation?
I would agree.
Just because there's a little chatter.
Running back question mark. Even if they're still question mark.
I would give running back the same status as quarterback. Personally.
Check mark with a question?
I would.
How about question?
Question. Okay.
Just a little more emphasis.
Question.
Yeah, so if we're talking rebuild, that's where I'm at with it, okay?
In between the two, check mark, 2 question marks.
2 question marks.
That's
okay,
what I said.
That's fair.
That's what I did.
But left tackle, and this is what I have as far as their depth chart from last year. Left tackle, X, nothing. Left guard, question mark.
Yeah.
Center, question mark.
Yep.
Well, depending on what Taylor said yesterday with Ben,
I'd say it's definitely a question mark.
It's definitely a question mark. Right guard, question mark.
Yeah.
I'd put an X there.
You put an X at right guard.
I mean, Nate's a free agent.
Okay, you're right. I do have an X here too. X, question mark. And I say question mark with maybe get re-signed, but I almost doubt it.
But does he want to come here either? Like,
that's true
that's
too.
the big
I would
question.
be surprised.
Right tackle, check mark, we're good. Wide receiver.
I would say check mark, question mark.
At right tackle?
I would.
So
just because you might move NPF to left tackle.
Okay, fair. Check mark, question mark.
Sure.
Wide receiver 1, check mark, Traylon.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 2, question mark.
X.
Wide receiver 3,
X.
X. Tight end, check mark, Chig.
Yep.
We got a lot of gaps, y'all. And that's
Well,
just
you can do tight end 1 and tight end 2, though.
Well, the way they had their set up their depth chart, it's only one tight end.
Really?
Yep.
The Titans don't have a third wide receiver on their base depth chart.
Well, they had it set up in NWI.
I know, but
That's wide
Ramon,
receiver 3. I'm just going there. I know, but even still, we only got one tight end. Chig.
Yeah. Well, unless they somehow bring Austin back, but I think he might be too expensive.
So that's an X and then a question mark.
Yeah.
Yep. X and a check because you got Chig.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Defense, left DN, Jeff needs to be extended. Nose tackle, X, because he's a free agent.
Correct.
Right DN, X, free agent. Will linebacker, check mark, but coming off of ACL.
Yep.
Middle linebacker, X, maybe Money Rice. Right inside linebacker, X. Strong side linebacker, X. Left cornerback, check. Strong safety, check. Free safety, check. Right cornerback, check.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're at the point now where the position that used to be the most uncertain on this team, the secondary, is now the most certain.
It is.
In terms of who you have. And Roger McCreary, Christian Fulton, and Hooker Byard.
Yeah.
And I still think, too, that the Titans' cap situation will require them to likely part ways with someone that none of us expect.
You think? Oh, for real?
I mean, like Derrick Henry would be that for a lot of people, right?
Yep.
Derrick Henry would be that. I mean, you're talking about a number of guys that likely still are going to have to restructure their deals in order to give you enough money to spend in the free agent market.
Mm-hmm. And that's to your point right there. Sandman just asked the question, well, what about David Long? David Long's a free agent.
Yep. And if he gets paid,
and he's going to have
he could go somewhere.
I think David Long, as far
else.
as offseason free agent linebackers, is going to have a really good market. If you're asking me if I'm taking Zach
No,
Cunningham
he is.
or David Long Jr., David Long Jr. is above him as far as market value.
But if another team wants him and wants to pay,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a discussion now as far as that. It's like, what are the Titans wanting to do as far as spending wise?
I hope
With what
they
you
keep
know.
David.
Because David has also had his injuries in and out, too.
He has, but
Like that one thing
David's
that Vrabel
unique.
said was, the repeat offenders.
I get that.
That hits me a little bit more now when we're speaking about these guys and do you keep and
But
what.
you got to have something.
You do got to have something. You got Money Rice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot to go on if you're going to pay a premium price for David Long Jr., too.
Here's an interesting question coming off of last offseason.
Okay.
John Robinson and the Titans made it a priority to not double down and give long-term deals to less than durable players. How much does Mike Vrabel think that he can adjust his own philosophy and adjust things behind the scenes to make guys who were chronically injured this past year more available in 2023? How much of that is under his control? Because when you look at a guy like David Long, who missed half the season, does he believe I'm willing to adjust what I do enough, or this was enough of a freak injury where I'm going to bet on David Long being more available this season? Or is Mike Vrabel the one behind the scenes who's saying, I'm done giving all this money to guys who aren't on the field?
That's a tough place to be at,
That's
though,
$1 million
too, Will.
question right
like,
there.
for real, man, that signing injured guys and not getting them for halfway through the season, and then they have another injury on top of that, we've seen as of late. But, Julio deal with it. Bud deal with it. You paid Harold. Harold got injured, whatever that may be. Zach Cunningham has gone through that. Saffold in his last year kind of went through the injury bug. Ben was up and down this year. Like, I know it's 100% injury rate, but the rate in which you see your starters go out, it's got to be painful to actually deal with on a week-to-week basis.
Then they leave, and it's like they're almost better off in the different organization where they're staying healthy.
Yeah. We saw Roger do 17 this year.
So it's like, do some guys even look at that and say, I might just get out?
Who's the DB
I hope
that
not,
went to
but-
the Giants?
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree's
Had
healthy.
a great year, too.
Who underwhelmed the entire time here.
And then here he is a prime guy in New York.
And
Another
couldn't
guy.
stay healthy here.
Corey somewhat stayed healthy. I guess he registered about the same amount of games with the Jets.
Somewhat. Yeah.
Somewhat. But you'd love to have the stability of a second wide receiver at this point. Like, that's the other part. Who's going to raise up these young guys at the wide receiver position? There's a lot to go on right now.
And the Titans' philosophy in not paying a wide receiver $20+ million puts pressure on yourself to draft really, really well at that position. Because again, and we're going to get into this in hour 4, it's not, like we've said, it's not trading A.J. Brown that was the problem. It was you traded A.J. Brown and your succession plan after him didn't hit. And then you compounded a mistake in the short term with a bigger mistake that now hurts you in the long term. Because I think now we can make the statement that for short-term winning, trading A.J. Brown was the wrong decision.
Yes.
Now, we'll see whether or not in the long run it was the right call based on what the Titans still continue to do and how quickly they can reload and rebuild this thing, particularly on offense. But for the short-term window, it was the wrong decision. If you wanted to win in 2023, trading A.J. Brown was the wrong decision.
It was. And A.J.'s another health guy. So
Yes.
I had one of my sources hit me up and just say this too. It ain't an issue of health when it comes down to the Titans. Them being completely healthy elsewhere may be that it's problems with the Titans. And I was just like, yeah.
And that's the one thing, what do we say in the offseason, that they at least need to look at?
That becomes the problem. And a soft way of saying, hey, guys, what y'all got going on over there? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then you had a guy here that left that was cut, Ola, that went to other places and was failed as far as health-wise, too. Mm-hmm. So how are you saying they healthy, but other teams aren't saying they're healthy?
Have you talked to Ola?
A little bit here and there, sure did.
Okay, so he's ready to go. Like, he wants to play.
He's definitely getting healthy to want to play.
Good.
Yeah.
Coming up next, the national perspective on the Titans' moves yesterday from our friend Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports. The profile of wide receiver the Titans need to replace Robert Woods with. And the Derrick Henry decision. Is Bryant McFadden moving on from King Henry this offseason if he's Rand Carthon? That's next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Will Bowling here for my friends at Lee Company. Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and so much more. For less than $9 per month, you can sign up for the Lee Company home maintenance plan and receive 4 visits to your home every year by an experienced technician. Let the Lee Company professionals keep your cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems in tip-top shape. Get the best players on your team today and learn more at leecompany.com or give them a call at 615-567-1000. It's a great offer from the folks who have been trusted in this community for nearly 80 years, less than $9 per month. Get the Lee Company home maintenance plan and get 4 visits to your home every year by one of their many experienced technicians. Visit them online at leecompany.com or give them a call. The number's easy to remember, 615-567-1000. That's Lee Company, all you need. Thursday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling. To the phone lines we go. Check it in with our good friend Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports. And B-Mac, pretty eventful day here in Nashville for the Titans yesterday. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's start here with the Titans replacing Robert Woods with somebody either in free agency or in the NFL draft this spring. For this Titans team right now, with all the changes they made yesterday, what profile of wide receiver would work in this offense now with the cap space that they have?
A wide receiver that has experience, a wide receiver that has been productive in the National Football League. You look at the turnover of last year, when you traded away A.J. Brown, and I know Titan fans definitely don't want to talk about that, but it was so funny for me to see that happen because it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense at all. But, you traded away a proven commodity in A.J. Brown. You drafted, utilize a first rounder on a wide receiver. But, young wide receivers take time. You brought in Robert Woods coming off an ACL injury. That relationship never panned out like we thought it potentially could. And now you release Robert Woods. So if you look at the wide receiver unit there in Tennessee, is young on top of young. You don't have any experienced go-getters that have really played at a high level in the league, and you just got to hope that either your young guys develop extremely fast, or they go out and make a few moves to bring in some older experience to help guide and develop the young guys along the way.
And B-Mac, to that point, though, I'm sure you saw, just like most folks anyway, the A.J. Brown conversation that he had, right, on Raw Report. And he mentioned something that was really Raw Room, not Raw Report. My B, not the Raw Room, B-Mac. Let's not go there. But he mentioned something about his numbers and catches and the money that was owed to him, okay? Wide receivers have to think about where they're going offensively. He said, man, I'm playing behind Derrick Henry. Like, how much does that matter to today's wide receiver?
It matters a lot. And think about, let's go back in time a few years ago, right, with Baltimore. Baltimore has always been known to be a run-oriented offense, especially since Lamar Jackson became the starter. And you remember, guys, few free agencies ago, they were trying to go get wide receivers, but a lot of wide receivers were telling them no because of the offensive identity. So I do think that plays a part, but at the end of the day, it's all about the almighty dollar. If they would have paid A.J. Brown would currently still be a Tennessee Titans. Yeah. Point blank. The reason why they traded away A.J. Brown is because at that time, management felt like he was not deserving of getting what he was wanting to see. So they traded him away. So that plays a big part in what you do as a player. But, Ramon, you know this better than anybody. It's all about the money. Who's going to pay you the most, right? Who's going to make you feel the most deserved, the most comfortable? And that's usually where these guys go, regardless of what Derrick Henry is doing, regardless of how many Derrick Henrys is on the offensive side. If they would have paid A.J. Brown, you guys know what time it is. A.J. will still be in Tennessee.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And you mentioned something, too, as far as being able to get some vets, but it's also got to be some younger guys, too. With the way free agency is kind of set up, man, and how many holes this team has, where do you go first? What do you prioritize, man? Another wide receiver to kind of bring on Treylon Burks? Or do you hit that offensive line up front, B-Mac? Because I realize now our position that we play, you're a DB, and I'm on the front end of this, of the offense, like the importance of those two spots can't be overstated enough now.
No question. I mean, the game was won in the trenches. If you look at both Super Bowl teams that played this year, they had dominant performances on both sides of the football on the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage, and that's imperative. But for the Tennessee Titans, man, there's a lot of turnover on that offense. I mean, you just released Taylor Lewan, a guy who's been a mainstay starter on the offensive line for quite some time. You don't know exactly which direction you go. You talk about the wide receivers. I mean, Treylon Burks is your number one guy based on the lack of depth. So I would say that's a good question. It depends on this is this upcoming draft. Let's highlight the draft first, okay?
Yeah.
I think this draft is more lineman heavy than it is wide receiver heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's an opportunity based on where you are located in the draft to go get one of these big top dogs in the trenches, then do so. But then we also got to look at it like this too, guys. The free agency class at the wide receiver spot is not deep either.
No, I'm looking at the list.
It's not deep.
No.
This is the wrong year
I know.
to be in dire need of a free agent wide receiver because this class is not enticing.
Well, that's the thing, B-Mac, because they've done this before where they tried to go get Julio Jones. Clearly, Julio wasn't the old Julio. They tried with Robert Woods. While I think they underutilized him and he was blocking a lot in this system, he could go do something somewhere else, but he didn't fit. So some of the names on here that I'm seeing, DJ Chark, you've got, Juju Smith-Schuster, but you also have to know they probably don't want to pay a lot because look what's happened in the past.
And also, too, because they did not want to pay a lot, you lost a franchise like wide receiver in A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you lost a franchise wide receiver. My thing is this. This is what I understand about this football. This is what I understand about football. If you have something going good, why are you messing it up? Yeah. The three-headed monster that Tennessee had with A.J., Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill was doing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand we have always had our concerns about Ryan Tannehill, but with those two guys surrounding him, we saw a better Ryan Tannehill than what we see without those guys. Mm-hmm. Point blank. So if you have a franchise wide receiver, a franchise running back, and a guy that can be a serviceable guy at the quarterback, why are we messing in that? We got to keep that nucleus together because now what you do is when you don't take care of your homegrown talent, guys that you drafted, you send them off elsewhere, another franchise reaps the fruits of their labor. Now you starting back from square one. Because you didn't want to pay A.J. Brown. So will it make sense to pay Juju Smith-Schuster the money that you could have paid A.J. Brown? Would it make sense to pay DJ? No.
Yeah. No, that's a true point. And here's the other question I have for you. So because Treylon Burks is still he's the number one guy. But look, he had some ups and downs last year. He dealt with some injuries. I think he got right in terms on the mental side of things. But does that put that much more pressure on a guy like that that's still so young and he's pretty much the guy in that group?
No question.
Golly.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And that's a great question because when you talk about young wide receivers, the best thing for young wide receivers to have at their disposal is an older guy they can learn from on and off the football field because that older guy can show them how to be a professional and to do it the right way. And that older guy can take some pressure off of them when it's late in the fourth quarter and that offense needs a play. Yeah. Let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Since me and Ramon has ties to that organization. Mm-hmm. Look at how they do the wide receiver position, right? They always drafted a young guy with high-level talent, but they put him in a situation where he can learn from older guys. Mm-hmm. And the same can be said in other areas of our team when we were there. So what you did was, instead of having a older guy that Treylon Burks can learn from, he had to learn everything on his own. Now, in year two, we don't need to see sophomore blues from Treylon Burks. He can't afford to have sophomore blues. And we know that second year can be a high and a low type situation for these guys. Because you don't have anybody else, guess what, Treylon? You got to go out and dominate. You got to go get us 1,100 yards plus. You got to go get us 7 or 8 touchdowns. You got to be our number one guy because we have nobody else.
That's a lot of pressure.
Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. So, Bryant, now that nucleus has been broken up, and you got two members of that big three left, Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, whose place on this roster should be more secure moving forward in the next season? Are you more likely to keep the quarterback and try to build around him, or are you building around your running back and King Henry?
Man, listen, y'all know the answer to that. I mean, out of those two guys, who's been the most dependable? Who's been the most consistent? I understand the running back's not a sexy position; it's been more devalued than anything. But Derrick Henry is the guy you build around because I think Derrick Henry has been the most impactful. He's been the most consistent guy on that team. Now the issue is this, guys: if you get rid of Ryan Tannehill, the guy you bring in, is he a better option? Will he be a better option?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to if you're telling me that you're going to cut ties with a player, I have to believe the guy you're bringing in to replace him is better than him. Now, when you look at the quarterback market, is more enticing in the free agent side of things than the wide receiver market. So there are some names available, but if you're letting go Ryan Tannehill, whoever you're bringing in, he has to be better than Ryan Tannehill. It can't be a debate. Because if that's the case, you're almost making a lateral move, to say the least. And you might have to pay that guy more.
Oh, B-Mac.
I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I feel like this, and I'm going to be honest. I think the window that was there for Tennessee has closed a lot. Especially within the division alone. I think that window has closed a lot because messing up the nucleus that you had, you look at what you had offensively, even though you weren't a unit that was just blowing people out of the window, you still were doing numbers and winning ball games. Moving and messing up the nucleus makes you start over from ground one. And when you start over from ground one, the other teams that are in your neighborhood, they already have a step or so above you. You know what I mean? So based on what you guys are asking me, great questions, by the way. I love it. But if you get rid of Ryan Tannehill, who are you bringing in that's better than him?
Yeah.
Right? Who would it be?
So B-Mac, Ramon's calling this a rebuild. Is that what you would say?
No question.
Okay.
No question. That's why I just said I felt like the window has closed a lot for this organization because the last few years, when you had everything in place, Tennessee was a team that at the end of the season, you don't know how they did it, but they always had a quality sound record, and they were always in the playoffs. It was like, how are these guys winning ball games? But they did it the Titan way because they had guys that played nice sound football, and they didn't shoot themselves in the foot. But now when you talk about changing over the roster, making moves that didn't make any sense, you're starting from ground up. So, yes, looking at how many guys they've already released, and they're going to release more. You look at the turnover on the roster, depending on a lot of young players, yes, this is a rebuild. Now, how long will this rebuild take? We don't know. But I can tell you this much. It's a rebuild, and it's going to be a very, very difficult year for Tennessee fans because you guys have been so accustomed to seeing relevant sound football play that this is a year where you got to really be ready to bite your fingernails off because it could be an ugly, long season based on the roster turnover.
Bryant McFadden, our guest from CBS Sports. This has been really good stuff, man.
B-Mac, bringing it.
Number of topics. On the way out, the conversation here has been it would be easier to replace a running back than a quarterback for the exact reason you just said, right? I mean, is Derek Carr really an upgrade on Ryan Tannehill? Probably not. And he's going to cost you the same, if not a little bit more than what you're already paying Tannehill. I guess the question I have is, how long can you continue building around the run game? Because Derrick Henry isn't getting any younger. I know the traditional running back rules don't necessarily apply to him, but how much longer can the Titans keep going to that well?
I mean, I think Derrick Henry, in my opinion, guys, I think Derrick Henry has another good 3 or 4 years left in the tank. Mm-hmm. And the question you just asked, how long can you continue to build around the running game? I think another 3 or 4 years. Because even though the running back is not the sexiest position, building around Derrick Henry got you guys a number 1 seed a few years ago.
Yeah.
Think about that, right? Yeah. Building around Derrick Henry the year before that got you guys in the playoffs. You've always, matter of fact, what year was that when you beat Kansas City in the playoffs?
19.
Surprised everyone.
Oh, that one was 17.
Was it 17? Okay.
Yep.
I thought that was like with 2020, right?
Yeah,
Kansas City. When they beat Kansas City in the playoffs, that was 17 when Alex Smith was still there. When they played Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, that was
Baltimore. They knocked off.
Yeah, Baltimore. They knocked off.
Baltimore. They knocked off to get to Kansas City.
Yes. So building around Derrick Henry has provided numbers.
Yeah.
So I think you still can do so. I think, though, when you talk about building around Derrick Henry is not going to be as impactful as he can be when you don't respect the passing game.
Right.
Yeah.
When you don't respect the wide receivers. When you don't let's do it like this. Let's rank the wide receiver units in the AFC South. It's safe to say Tennessee would be dead last right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No question.
Now, and I'll say this. If you're the Baltimore Ravens and your wide receiver unit is dead last in your division, you still can win ball games because you got Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennessee don't have Lamar Jackson. Think about this. Houston has been a bad team the last 3 or 4 years. They've been changing head coaches like I change socks. Every day they're changing a new head coach.
but they have better wide receivers than the Tennessee Titans. How is that possible?
Gotcha.
Right. It's a great conversation and a really good discussion today with our friend Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports. B-Mac, I appreciate you sharing some knowledge with us today. Always enjoy it.
Oh, man, thank you for having me, man. Y'all be safe. Ramon, you know you're my guy, man. Hit me up.
Man, no doubt, B-Mac. Golly, I'm going to need a break after this.
I know, right?
Whew.
And we immediately transition, coming back with Jason Rittenberry of the Music City Grand Prix. We'll react to a lot of what B-Mac had to say just now coming up in hour number 4, because there are many things that we got to digest, and
we could have done that all
the
rest of the show.
Yeah.
God, dog.
Seriously.
I'm texting him immediately right now.
Coming up next, it's the president and COO of the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Jason Rittenberry will join us. Tickets are on sale for the Music City Grand Prix. We get more info on one of the most unique events to come to Music City every summer. Coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon and Kayla for Old School Vapor. Kayla, you know, as a former professional athlete, man, I have aches and pains I deal with every day, but I found Old School Vapor, and they're hands down the most knowledgeable when it comes to helping me get some relief.
Yeah, I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, man, I'm feeling in my 30s. You're right, Ramon, but this is our friends. These are our friends. They have us covered. As soon as you walk in, someone to greet you, guide you in the right direction. And my favorite part about them, if you're a pet owner, they have so many choices for your fur babies. Maybe they have separation anxiety or travel issues. You can go shop Old School selection of over 200 legal CBD products from brands like Looper, Torch, Hidden Hills, and many more.
Also, you non-fur babies, meaning you humans, if you use F4s, Old School Vapor has over 100 authentic flavors for just $18.99 each. And you can check out their other sales, too, like buy one, get one free off of Escobars, 25% off glass pipes, and 50% off smell-proof bags.
And if you're like, where are they? Where do I find them? No issues. They're easy to find. Check them out on Instagram, or you can just Google Old School Vapor to find your nearest location.
And there's 4 locations also: Franklin, both ends of Spring Hill, Columbia, and more to come. That's Old School Vapor. And these products contain nicotine, which is an addictive chemical. You must be 21 years or older to purchase, and no sales to minors.
Thursday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Alongside 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, our broadcast journalist veteran Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. As we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, and we're talking about one of my favorite events in Nashville every single year with Jason Rittenberry, the president and COO of the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Kind enough to give us a couple of minutes this morning. What's going on, Jason? How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all this morning? Thanks for having me on.
We are great, and man, we're excited for another year of the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Tickets are on sale. You got the addition of a Saturday race, an earlier start time for Sunday. Lots of things I know you guys are excited about. What can you tell us about what fans will see that's a little bit different coming up this summer?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing this year for 23 is, we really listen to our fans. That's the one thing that we try to do from year 2 to year 3 is listen to our fans and see what things, we could do to make it better, a more enjoyable experience for them. And the two things we kept hearing were, the heat. So, there's not a lot we can do about the heat in August in Nashville, but there's some things we could do to try to make it a little more bearable. And so, we made some changes to the schedule. We moved a Saturday race that's normally run a little earlier in the day. We're running that under the lights. And that's the thing we're probably most excited about this year is that's going to be one of the coolest things we've ever done. Really will be the only street racing circuit in America that's running at night under the lights. So we're pumped about that to see those cars driving over the Korean Veterans Bridge, under the street lights of the city of Nashville. And then on Sunday, like you mentioned, we were able to work with our broadcast partners at IndyCar and get the time of the NTT IndyCar Series, the main event for the weekend. The time bumped up a little earlier in the day. The last 2 years we've been at 2:30, 3:30 in the afternoon, and that's just the heat of the day, the sun blaring down on you. So we've been able to move that earlier in the day to 11:30. It's going to be a little more enjoyable for our fans, and still have a full day of racing after the IndyCar race.
For people who are interested or big dollar guys like Will Bowling, you do have you do have club and suites available too. If you want to just, it's the bachelorette capital of the world, you can do a group setting in those type of events, right?
Absolutely. You can blow it out. Everything is on sale, as you mentioned. So everything from our regular grandstand seats and the grandstands to GAs, all the way up to our clubs. We've got three club levels this year. We've added a new club, Turn 9 Club, which is the most action-packed turn in all of IndyCar, right at KVB and Interstate Drive. So we've added an all-inclusive 3-day ticket, air conditioning, reserve grandstand seat in our Turn 9 Club. Then we have our East Club, which all you guys are very familiar with in Nissan Stadium, with all the glass overlooking pit lane and the start-finish line. Again, 3-day, all-inclusive, food, beverage, air conditioning, inside seating. And then for the really high-dollar ones, so for Will.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
With the Club RPM, which is our highest-level ticket, the most premium experience we have, and it is over the top. Everything you can imagine in there. Again, all-inclusive food and beverage, but it's best views of the track, and it's pretty exclusive. And we've expanded that this year. It's sold out so early the last 2 years. We've really never been able to put any tickets on sale to the general public. So we've added to the size of that this year, expanded it. So there are a few limited number of tickets available to the public for the Club RPM.
I know from year 1 to year 2, you did some improvements on the course. I know that drivers were looking forward to that. What was the feedback after last year, and do you plan to make any changes this year?
Well, I think some of the changes we made were an improvement for the drivers, and some of them really didn't make a ton of difference. I harp on the drivers a lot because, and I give the IndyCar guys a little bit of a hard time because the fans complain about the IndyCar race having so many caution laps, and I respond to those guys. There's 5 other race series that made it around the track without a problem. So is it the track or is it the drivers?
Call them out.
It's aggressive drivers, but it's an exciting race. It's a big race on the schedule. It's one the drivers want to win. So I love that they want to win the race. But come on, guys, you're not going to go into this turn 4 wide. It's just not going to happen. So, we're we are working with IndyCar. We are looking at what changes they want to make. And again, at the end of the day, they really control that more than we do. I mean, we'll agree and agree to finance it, whatever needs to be done, the changes. But at the end of the day, it's really more of IndyCar's call if they feel like we need to make some changes. And turn 9, like I mentioned earlier, the most action-packed turn in IndyCar. It's where all the action is. It's where it's either great passes or they're wadding them up and putting 4 in the wall. So really that's the turn that we made changes to last year. We may make some changes to that again this year, but the rest of the track, I think the rest of the track we've got figured out for now for the current layout because who knows, what the layout's going to look like in the future. I think this year, obviously, the layout will be the same as last year, but for 24 and on, we're not sure. So we know we're going to have a race. We know we're going to be in downtown Nashville.
Well, that's good.
But we're not sure, not sure what that route will be with a new stadium on the horizon, possibly. So we'll see how all that plays out. But we can assure our fans and the city that we'll be here, and we're getting ready to sign a 3-year extension with IndyCar and the city. Mayor's very supportive of it. The city's very supportive of it. And that's not going anywhere. So we will be here and looking forward to many years to come with this race. But for this year, like you mentioned, all the tickets are on sale. They went on sale at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. They're moving great. So those fans that are listening and want to attend, let's get our tickets right now.
Absolutely. Jason Rittenberry, President COO of the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, has been our guest. Jason, I can tell you, for me and my friends and a lot of people I know, this is a yearly event that is a must-have every summer for us. We are certainly looking forward to it and appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
And reserve Will one of those suites
there we
me.
go.
For me.
Yeah, we'll get him a Club RPM.
I'll have my people talk to your people. Sounds good.
The ticket's actually the ticket's for me, Will. It's not for you. Yeah,
Okay,
you're just gonna pay for it.
Jason, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there's Jason Rittenberry with us as we finish up hour 3 this morning. And I'm serious. I want to encourage you guys, if you haven't been out there to that thing.
Yep, it's great.
That night race is going to be sweet. Like, I'm texting my friends now of like, hey, like let's go. Let's get our tickets. Like, I'm serious.
Seriously, the Turn 9 Club is pretty affordable for a group. Like, I think if you going in and you planning on going, it's something you go 2-3 days for that price with food, drinks. Yeah, I'm into that one, Will. You got your card ready?
Yeah, here, hold on. I'll give you some of these numbers. After the break, Connor Bone, Kayla, and Will.
Where's the
104.5
Black
The
A-Max?
Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Window Nation. And Window Nation has the coolest deal ever for keeping you warm, or cool today, actually, where you pay 0 down, make 0 payments, and get 0% financing for 24 months. Yes, 2 years, no interest. Plus, get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy with no limit. Take advantage of Window Nation's deep discounts, all while reinvesting in your biggest asset. Not to mention the energy savings for years to come. You can call 866-90Nation or go online at windownation.com. And if you didn't know, weather impacts your windows. Hot days, which is today, cold nights, which will be tonight, well, it can cause caulk to crack, seal failures, and condensation. And Window Nation only uses top-of-the-line materials, including mold spray and Quad Max sealing. Toughest against all weather conditions because we have them all in the month of February, and it's pretty iffy out here. Where, again, Window Nation, you pay nothing for 24 months, and you can buy 2 windows and get 2 windows free on any style from Window Nation. There's no limit to it, and you'll save thousands on your new windows and energy bills, all while upgrading the look and feel of your home. Reach out to them, 866-90Nation, or go online at windownation.com, and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
9 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Tennessee Titans made several roster cuts on Wednesday. The team released left tackle Taylor Lewan, wide receiver Robert Woods, linebacker Zach Cunningham, and kicker Randy Bullock. Cunningham and Lewan were released with failed physical designations. The Titans cleared nearly $38 million in cap space with those roster moves. Men's college basketball yesterday, LSU defeated Vanderbilt 84-77. The loss snapped the Doors' 5-game winning streak. Belmont defeated Indiana State 89-88, the 19-point deficit that the Bruins made up, the biggest comeback in Curb Event Center history. Coming up tonight, women's action. Lady Vols host number 1 and undefeated South Carolina, 6 o'clock. The tip for that one. College baseball yesterday, number 3 Tennessee routed Alabama A&M 23-1. Number 10 Vanderbilt cruised past UAB 13-1. NBA action tonight, Grizz at the Sixers in the city of brotherly love. 6:30 will be the tip for that. Predators out in the West Coast taking on the Sharks. 9:30 will be the face-off. That's late. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show quickly heads into hour number 4 this morning, a big Thursday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Coach Mack already with us in hour number 2. Wow. Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports dropping some major knowledge on the Tennessee Titans that we'll get back to here in just a moment. And Jason Rittenberry, the president and COO of the Music City Grand Prix, giving us some news on an event that will continue for an additional 3 years.
Let's go.
In the Music City. Literally one of the favorite things that I get to do every single summer is have a domestic beverage and watch race cars. Alongside 11-year NFL veteran and Vol for Life, Ramon Foster.
Yeah.
Our capitalized J journalist, just erase the dot over the J when you talk about Kayla Anderson. And the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer.
The best producer in the world!
I am Grand Prix enjoyer Will Bowling.
His name is Will Bowling!
And it's lights out and away we go into hour number 4.
Yeah.
Get it.
That's what you should say after that. Yeah.
615-737-1045 is our number.
Get you some.
We were talking in the break before we get back to Titans.
We do that a lot.
We do that a lot.
Oh, we actually talk to each other. No.
God, could you imagine if we didn't?
I hate y'all.
I've worked on those shows.
Whoops. Whoopsies.
Ramon, do you want to feel really old for a second?
Oh, no. He's felt old twice on this show.
No. Don't talk about my age on this show. Absolutely not.
Fool. Ageism.
Make me feel old.
Got to send us to break then. Okay.
Yeah, make me feel old. Let's hear it.
15 years ago today.
Okay.
Number 2 Tennessee beat number 1 Memphis.
Wow.
15 years ago today, February the 23rd, 2008.
2008.
One of my favorite days ever.
Golly, I remember that too.
I do too.
I remember
Hey,
that.
Moan.
Yeah.
Moan.
What we doing?
Ramon.
What happened, Shafe?
Oh.
Moan.
Come on, I'm changing
Who
hats.
won that game? Hey!
What's that I want? Come on, Will.
He always does this dance. He does this dance.
Will slow Millie Rock on anybody's track. You
Literally
hear me?
anybody.
You'll always be home, sweet home to me. God on Rocky Top. Woo! And for the anti-woo people, I'm for it, okay?
Yeah, I'm
You like the
anti
woo
the
girls?
anti-woo people.
No, some people get mad when you go, woo!
Yeah, that
on
exists.
the good.
Oh, I like that
That
part.
does exist.
They hate that, Kayla.
As long as it's not the woo girls,
Yeah,
then I'm down.
They're
Yeah,
probably
but-
in the stadium.
Yeah, at the games, there's a few of them doing
Okay,
the,
well, let's just let them do that part.
Yeah, but I'm just like, why were you hating on that, man? It goes
I
with
like
the
it.
song. It goes with, if Will can call the Steelers colors black and yellow, we can go woo with with Rocky Top. You feel me? Pick and choose.
There
here.
was Wiz Khalifa's song, though. I mean, it is technically black and yellow, right?
It's the song is because
Right,
because
You know what it
dedicated.
is.
you can't black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
Everything
black and
I do.
yellow,
On this
Everything
show,
I
no.
do.
Big.
I refuse to talk about it on this show.
I've already rapped
Absolutely
one
not.
song today.
You did rap another song, but I go back to that first week I started this gig. Woo! I had no idea. There's a few cities that Nashville hates. One of them's Pittsburgh.
Talk to me.
That's yes. Let's go. Let's go.
Look at Will. You know what it is.
Yeah. What?
You know what?
Are we done? Okay, we're done.
But also, Penguins coming into town this week too.
Oh.
What did you have to say there?
There's some heavy hate, Kayla. That's what I was going to. Like the hate of Pittsburgh,
Sid the
Baltimore.
Kid?
It's like 37.
I know, but he's still Sid the Kid in my eyes.
He the kid,
Well,
ain't
when
he?
he throws water bottles on the ice in the middle of play, acting like a kid.
There
Yo,
he is.
there he is. There's the Petty Will.
That's the Petty
And
Will.
that was talking hockey.
That was.
See, the
but
sad
We
thing
always
is,
feel segmented.
but
That's-
like the Steelers get that, like the Cowboys get We Dem Boys,
Yup.
the Titans get cringy bro country that no one asked for. Like that's the sad thing about this is that in a city of music, the song that accompanies the Titans, no one possibly asked for it. It's called "Get Loud." Like, what are we, dude?
I've never heard this claim.
Does "Get Loud" have a dead cap hit for 2023? Well, like, how easily can they get out of that?
I heard, wasn't that Gloria Estefan? Let's get loud.
Put your hands up. Like, guys, what are we?
Is that's the go-to chat?
Get loud and tighten
I'm
up.
not even gonna do that.
It's bad.
What about who run it?
There it is.
Oh, God.
Todd Apple said it's awful.
What's the dead cap hit for this song? What's the dead cap hit?
What?
Like, can you get rid of this song but still have to pay it a $1.5 million against the cap for 2023?
You want to buy out?
I want to buy out badly. Oh my gosh!
And then
Maybe Will can rap the new one.
This is the problem. Like we live in Music City, and that's the song that's played after the Titans score a touchdown.
Scrap the whole thing, Will. Let's
Like
start.
you could probably get like Keith Urban. Like you could get somebody legit, and you just got you've got somebody that I don't know who sings that song. But
I got nothing.
I'm God and their mama love them, but I don't love the song.
Heartbroken Will is
God,
hurt.
Santa Claus, and their mama just love them to death.
I
but
want to know who likes it. I want to know who likes it. Somebody
All right, call
jams
us
out
up.
to it. Yes. I play the intro again.
I've been going to Titans games my whole life, and I have never like it's just it oh God.
Get loud.
Like I promise you, for those of us that grew up in this city and have watched this team since Steve and Eddie, this isn't for us. We need something for us that's good. Like if it sounds like an influencer country music TikToker would like it, just throw it into the sun. And this is something you would see on TikTok and scroll through pretty quickly.
Would you're telling me you would buy a plane ticket, go to Hawaii, and all of the hard copies and computer drives with this song on it, you'd rent a helicopter just to drop them in?
The amount of fan bases that have walked into Nissan Stadium and done like a cool song, like the Buffalo, like, hey, and I'm like, that's cool.
Right?
That's cool. Like between that and like Fly Eagles Fly, I'm like, dang it, that's awesome.
Zach in
like,
the
I wanna
chat,
do that.
Zach in the chat says, sounds like the Power Rangers theme song. And he's
It
exactly
does.
right.
It's the red one and the yellow. Like, now, granted, not everyone's good at this because there are 3 teams that play the same song after touchdowns, and it's the
But we got a
Michaels.
caller.
The Michael Scott, I don't want to work, I just want to bang on this drum all day. 3 different NFL teams play that after touchdowns. The Colts, the Bengals, and the Packers. Yeah. That's also inexcusable. So the Titans aren't alone in this.
Hey, man.
But let's, as a society, if we're making cuts, let's just cut off all the dead weight. Let's do it.
That's a part of it too, Will. The song Gotta Go. We've played it 3 times already. I still don't know the name of it.
It's called Get Loud.
Get Loud. It's it's called. Somebody likes it, I think.
Somebody likes it?
Someone's calling in, and I said, call in if you liked it. Oh, no, that's Derrick Henry.
V-Love on Twitter at HeHateV, a lifer of this station and this city. Call him the unofficial mayor of the city. Says, at Will_Bowling is speaking for the people right now. That Get Loud stuff sucks. He's not wrong.
Well, that's tough, man. Everybody's saying it. Somebody said, yeah, everybody wants a buyout on this one.
While we're making cuts, I mean, what?
Like music capital of the world, and this is what we get. Starlito needs to come up with something. Scoop
Literally
said
anything.
We all want a buyout. Ronnie Smith said, I sit down in the stadium when they play it.
I go from cheering and standing to sitting down and being silent. Oh, God.
I had no idea that was the go-to song, Will.
It's so
And you'd
bad.
never heard it.
No, when does it get played? Like when the Titans run out? It can't be then.
No, it doesn't. It gets played like after every touchdown.
Stop.
After every touchdown.
So which one's the We Run?
Who run it gets played as the team runs out at the beginning of the game.
Well, that's probably a 1-year thing, too.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to stay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know a song that would actually inspire Ramon Foster to go back and play in the NFL.
Which one is that?
Please don't.
You're
the worst. You're the worst. I hate you so much. Please stop.
Bunch of them live in Nashville. What's the problem?
The chat hates us because they can't hear anything.
The thing is, I do love
It's
this
Renegade.
You do love this? Until you've been to a game.
Until I learned it was the Pittsburgh thing, and then I didn't like it anymore.
I love that we can be friends and we'll have this hate internally like this.
I was stepping on towels, too, back in the day when a couple running backs were. But
I remember that day.
He was burning towels.
Moan, here you go.
Yeah. I freaking love that.
I just realized that yell was probably by her.
Yeah, they're Robert Walsh.
I was Renegade right there. The Let's Go Buffalo song is that's legit
it's so
right
cool.
there. That is
cool.
legit. I can't. We be in there getting smacked. Will I be on the side?
It's legitimately the coolest. I think Bills fans are the best in the league, man.
Yeah, they do everything right.
They're
I feel
great.
But that was also a thing. I think that was Shafe that told me about that. Like teams in the 70s had songs put together as like a playlist. I think that was a trendy
Chargers,
thing.
Steelers had one. A lot of different teams had teams. San Diego
Superchargers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Buffalo's was just that good that they've kept it for so long.
The Oilers had a lot. The Oilers had old school music.
I'm sure they did, yeah.
Like that's legit. And there were like original Tennessee Oilers, red, white, and blue. Tennessee Oilers gonna get all over you. Like that was a thing.
Maybe you should sing one. You should sing a new. There we go.
Schaefer
the new
knows the song I'm talking about too. That was a legit thing,
I'll
wasn't
back
it?
you up on that one if we get Will.
Brought
to
to you
that.
by Will Bowling, the touchdown song.
Man, somebody just said Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. Is that an option? Is that an option?
I do like that song.
Right now, the theme of the Titans offseason is Shake It Off.
Because, baby, now we've got Bad Blood. Coming up next.
Somebody said Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
I love that song. Sabotage, that's great.
Like, we live in Music City. Like, we can do better.
That's fair, Will.
We can do a lot better.
That ain't even just you deserve better. If you move
And
into
while
this.
we're at it, while I'm on soapboxes,
No, go ahead, King, go off.
Bring back Folsom Prison Blues at the end of the third quarter and not before the game.
Okay.
That's the sound of the pain train. Woo-woo! Like, that was like,
wow.
Terry Taylor, office linebacker. The pain train in Folsom Prison Blues is a staple on which this city was built.
Will sounded like the guy on Arrested Development.
He sounds like he's upset and fed up with the way this organization has selected music.
Well,
we
so
have
are the
some
people.
tradition.
So are the people.
I'm telling you, this is where, again, Born and raised in this city.
Come on, Will.
I want tradition, and I want it to be good.
Get him, Will.
Yeah, you know we're going to be shot into the sun.
Go Titans, go! No, bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back tomorrow. I would rather have that than who run it. We run it, and no one knows what to say. Like my parents are looking at me like, what did they want us to say? What's going on? What are they selling?
Never seen him be this unhinged before, Kayla. Like he's
going all in.
And on top of a new stadium, too, Will. Something's got to be figured out before 2026 with this theme music moving forward.
I'm old enough to remember when people used to say I wasn't violent enough on this show. 615-737-1045. And coming up next.
He's changed.
I know.
The
The transitions, man. Golly, Will. We was ready to go ape crap in here. Come on, man.
There was a tweet that hit home yesterday from a writer from Pro Football Focus about the dollar amounts the Titans gave to 2 wide receivers instead of the one they drafted in the second round in 2019. Ramon and I are going to probably butt heads a little bit on this because I think you're all tired of hearing about A.J. Brown because I'm tired of hearing about A.J. Brown. But after yesterday and after what A.J. Brown had to say on Raw Room with Darren Bates and those guys, it's a relevant discussion now that the Robert Woods era is over in Tennessee about what they paid him and Julio and what they could have paid A.J. Brown. What can the Titans get from a wide receiver one while you're still paying your running back and your quarterback a lot of money? Coming up next, it's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Window Nation. And Window Nation has the coolest deal for keeping you warm or cool on this hot day today because you'll pay $0 down, make 0 payments, and get 0% financing for 24 months. That's 2 years, no interest. Plus, get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy with no limit. And so you can take advantage of Window Nation's deep discounts, all while reinvesting in your biggest asset, not to mention the energy savings for years to come. You can call 866-90Nation or go online at windownation.com. And here's why you choose Window Nation Windows. 43% of your utility bill is heating costs. And as we know, the weather's going to go back down tomorrow. You got to heat that house up. But you can save up to 30% on your heating bills with Window Nation Windows. Increase the value of your home by up to $12,000 and get a federal tax credit up to $500. If your windows are sticking, drafty, cracked, hard to open or locking when they close, yes, you need new windows. And the best thing about it, too, is the average installer has over 16 years of experience with over 20,000 windows installed. You'll buy 2, get 2 free on any style window from Window Nation. Plus, pay nothing with no interest until 2025. Again, call 866-90Nation or go online at windownation.com.
It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you. This one of the many songs that would be upgrades at Titans games.
This is a great song.
I think the Chiefs kind of have cornered the market, though, on Beastie Boys, unfortunately. But the energy is right in this. We will discuss and come back to you with more answers before the season starts. This is a tweet from Adam Schefter, Ramon, that I just read to Schaefer and Kayla in the break while you were out doing whatever you were doing.
Doing Ramon things.
This is a real tweet. I had to make sure this wasn't somebody with a Twitter blue check mark. Adam Schefter on Twitter, 9:09 a.m. The room in which Aaron Rodgers spent his time is a partially underground Hobbit-like structure with 300 square feet of space, devoid of light, with a queen bed, a bathroom, and a meditation-like mat on the floor. PFT commenter from Barstool responded and said, training to live in New York. Interesting.
Wow.
So, studio apartment in the on the Upper East Side.
Apartment. You know what? I saw one. It was like $5,000 a month, Will, in New York like that.
Probably.
So he's out of the chambers. This was like is he Harry Potter?
Well, maybe he's playing the new video game, the Harry Potter video game that just came out.
You think you can sit there for 4 days?
In darkness?
In darkness? What are you doing? Do you just, because at some point you're going to get tired and just sleep. Like,
I can't even stay in my own thoughts for 4 minutes, let alone stay in the darkness.
You know what they should have did? They should have put him in the quietest room in the world. That way he can really hear like his blood moving.
I already hate it inside my head. Why do I want to double down on that?
He should do that. Put him in the world's quietest room where he can hear like his body functioning. That'll end the whole carousel.
Basically any phone call you had with an ex.
Well, there we go.
Of the world, Craig. The world.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's what Aaron Rodgers is up to.
I don't really care what he's doing in Southern Oregon.
And speaking of people we don't care what they're doing, let's talk about A.J. Brown.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm really not kidding.
Let's go.
Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports had a really good conversation with us earlier this morning about the Titans breaking up the nucleus, breaking up the three-headed monster. We've got that audio for you if you missed it on the Titans were doing numbers, and then they broke up the band. This was Bryant McFadden.
Because they did not want to pay a lot, you lost a franchise like wide receiver in A.J. Brown. My thing is this. This is what I don't understand about football. If you have something going good, why are you messing it up? The three-headed monster that Tennessee had with A.J., Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill was doing numbers. And I understand we have always had our concerns about Ryan Tannehill, but with those two guys surrounding him, we saw a better Ryan Tannehill than what we see without those guys. Point blank. So if you have a franchise wide receiver, a franchise running back, and a guy that can be a serviceable guy, the quarterback, why are we messing in that? We got to keep that nucleus together, because now what you do is when you don't take care of your homegrown talent, guys that you drafted, you send them off elsewhere, another franchise reaps the fruits of their labor. Now you started back from square one. Because you didn't want to pay A.J. Brown. So will it make sense to pay Juju Smith-Schuster the money that you could have paid A.J. Brown? Would it make sense to pay DJ? No.
That was Bryant McFadden with us earlier this morning.
That puts everything into perspective about where you are and how you went about doing those types of things too. Breaking up the nucleus.
Yeah, it's not what anybody wants to do, but at some point you have to do it. And you heard him say several times during our chat with him earlier, the window's closed. He believes the window's closed for the Titans, and I've been hearing that in other places too.
Yeah, for sure. And the breakup, like I question a lot of things around J-Rob, and I know he's not here, and that regime is over and done with. But that put us here now, right? And hearing AJ's conversation, listening to B-Mac kind of say that, and also having another guy yesterday, Ron Harris, kind of say like J-Rob shouldn't get another job at this capacity for a while. And maybe this is a big learning move for everybody involved. Coach Mack says it all the time. We got some of the smartest listeners out here, and I think that's the case when you look at how J-Rob operated and what we expect out of Rabel and Rand Carthon moving forward. And hearing other people speak about the competitiveness that it takes to win in this league, how you go about that. That big three that you had on the offensive side of the ball, it carried a whole lot of weight. And now you're left empty-handed almost in a sense because you don't know what's next for this group. And I think that's where the AJ conversation to me was more interesting on what he said and how he felt about the stuff that was happening here.
Now, what I will say is, because we've heard a lot of this, well, the window's closed, all this, I think what sped that up a little is something they can't control, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars doing what they've done, having the success that they did, winning the division, going in, having some success in the program, seeing in the playoffs, seeing that organization move forward.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, we expected them to be better because they didn't have Urban Meyer running the show anymore, but we kind of saw more than we expected. So I think that's kind of pushed that narrative just a little bit with the Titans kind of not being that team anymore in the AFC South. But you have to give them a chance. And that's what Amy Adams Strunk is trying to do. She went out and got Rand Carthon, who everybody's excited about. Like, let them at least try to do their job and give some hope, because that's, I think, okay for fans to accept too. Is like, yeah, we're not there anymore in terms of the window wide open, but they're trying to provide hope. They're trying to do something.
And Will, you got information on that if you had it available on why, two others failed and you could have went another direction.
The Titans paid Julio Jones and Robert Woods $25.3 million and gave up second and fourth round picks in the process. Both of them combined for less than 1,000 yards. That is still significantly less than what A.J. Brown is on the record as saying he would have taken to return to the Tennessee Titans, which is about $20 million.
That sucks. And we heard these things in the beginning. To hear AJ's side, and I can't emphasize that enough, to hear AJ's side of what he said held true to what the rumors were. About 20 to 22 was going to get it for him. And my biggest standpoint on hearing AJ talk ain't what has already happened. AJ's gone through a whole season already with Philly, right? But when he start mentioning, it wasn't my fault that he got fired. There was other things. Players that he signed, didn't sign, in and outside of that locker room. Like, that's the thing about it. Players have to hold their tongues a whole lot when they're currently in a situation or actively being hired by teams or the NFL that they can't necessarily say. The person that brought AJ in is no longer here, and he's no longer a Titan. So I think it's interesting to hear him mention players inside of that locker room didn't feel comfortable with some of the moves that J-Rob was making, essentially. Like, that's what got you fired. And I thought that was a very telling sign of why J-Rob did get fired and how players felt about that. Like, it's hard to compete when you have people that get signed outside of your building that you don't really know a whole lot about, or they come in injured. Let's be fair about that, too. Or you giving up draft picks for a guy and you need a Julio later in the season and Julio ain't available. How you think that make AJ feels like, well, man, that could have been spent on me. Now we're looking at these draft picks that are gone, and you say, golly, we could have used those when we got zero. I mean, essentially not enough out of those trades and money you gave them, because that money they pushed forward to satisfy Julio, it kind of hurts you on the back end again, too. And that's bothersome to me.
Part of that, to get Julio, whose deal did you have to restructure?
Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
So here we are in in another situation, and I thought this was fair. Now, I'm actually giving AJ credit, whether he realized this in hindsight or to his point, it's like, I've grown up a little bit more. He said he presented Vrabel with what he wanted to do here. He said, man, I'll do a 3. You go do what you got to. I'll work around this team structure. Do me a 3. He's like, and I know after that, I'm probably going to be a different player. I'll do a 2-year deal and play the backseat to whoever y'all want to be number 1. When I heard that a little bit, I was like, God.
I don't fully buy it.
I don't, but at least the conversation or the thought was there. What happens when he got to the end of that 3 is a different conversation. What if his career does go down at that point? He said he wanted to be a Titan. I think it's fair to respect that. And him and Vrabel's relationship and hearing that conversation on the Raw Room was very much interesting, that their relationship was way tighter than I've probably ever seen any coach and a coach player in this league.
Well, that's
not
why
a quarterback.
Vrabel was comfortable enough with going on, again, the NFL Network. I remember watching that interview live and saying, because we were all tuning in, he's going on the NFL Network, what is he going to say? And saying, like, as long as I'm head coach, I don't foresee A.J. Brown not being a Titan.
I believe that. I believe that now.
So
for what it's worth, I believe it. Now, where you at on it, Will?
I think it's AJ taking an easy win. Hindsight's 20/20. From what we've heard, when the number didn't move where he wanted it to move, his representatives were not answering the Titans. His representatives weren't willing to come to the table until they got the first step in what they wanted in the process. If he really wanted to be a Titan that badly, I think he still would have had a chance to be a Titan.
I'm here for it.
I think we're hearing one side of the story from him on a podcast after the fact where he knows, hey, I'm with former players that know this organization and know this city.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're hearing one side. I also think that this fan base and this city is tired of it. And I am too, because honestly, I think at this point, I would be much more interested in what A.J. Brown had to say now if John Robinson was still the general manager, because that would shape the moves the Titans were going to make moving forward and the moves that they would make in the future under his leadership. He's not the leader here anymore.
Okay.
It doesn't tell me any kind of forecasting of what the Titans' philosophy is going to be moving forward. We have a totally new precedent for that. That's why I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about that interview or diving into it. That's why I wanted to, in what we spent on it yesterday, I thought it was important to look at the Mike Vrabel element of it and their personal relationship, because Mike Vrabel's still here, and it gives us more insight into the way he relates to his players.
But my portion of it was this, though. When John Robinson wouldn't move off that 16, as players, and you only get one or two windows. Like,
quickly, just explain what you mean by that for people that didn't listen to the interview.
AJ said in the Raw Room interview with Darren Bates and company that John Robinson presented him with a deal that was $16 million with incentives up to 20, and said that him and his agent went back and forth about what do we do. And AJ said that the Titans weren't moving, meaning they didn't come higher than $16 million a year as a base. And he knew he was worth more than that. And under the guidance of his agent, he said, well, stop talking to him.
What's an agent's job to do?
To guide you, give you guidance.
And they want the most out of it too.
Yes.
So.
Here's the audio of what AJ said.
You telling me you all in the media, you're not gonna trade me, you're not gonna, you know what I'm saying, all this other stuff. You talking to me behind closed doors. You come, you know what I'm saying, just talking to me like, bro, you're not going nowhere. He like, you're not going nowhere. From Vrade, from John Robinson, like all of them. Like the whole process. I tell like the whole process, bro. Like they offered me like 16 up to like 20 with incentives. And so it was like no disrespect, but like don't disrespect me, bro. Right, you feel me? Like I'm playing behind Derrick Henry, bro. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like I can go crazy, bro. Like, you know, he getting the ball 30 times. You know what I'm saying? Like my agent was like, at some point, like you gotta let him know, like, you know what I'm saying, you're not playing. So he telling me, I'm like, listen, bro, I ain't never went through this. It's what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I paid you, you know what I'm saying? To do a job. Lead me.
Yeah.
He like, stop talking to them.
So there you go. And that confirms what we heard, that when AJ didn't have the first step to the process that he wanted to have. He stopped talking to him.
Can I be fair?
He didn't come to the table.
Can we be fair to him, though? How good do we think AJ is before everything transpired? AJ is really good, right?
AJ's a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
Before he even put on an Eagles uniform.
Now, did he get the attention as much nationally here? No.
But everybody, though? Everybody knew he was a top 10 guy.
Mm-hmm.
$16 million a year for the market value. I see somebody say crying about millions of dollars. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But if the market suggests you're supposed to get $20+ million, then you got to. $16 million is wide receiver 2. That's tight end money. AJ can't be top 10 wide receiver as rankings kind of have him in this league and take $16 million because that lower his point. It's not like AJ's resetting it. AJ just went inside the club with everybody else that's a wide receiver 1. And it suggested that he get that.
Guys making between $13 and $19 million in the NFL right now. Curtis Samuel, Hunter Renfrow, Marquise Brown, Michael Thomas.
Who's been injured, and that's an old deal.
Has been,
DK Metcalf. You had at this point, these are just cap hits.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, a cap hit of 14.7. He got a lot of money guaranteed up front.
Yes.
Deontay Johnson. Tyler Lockett, $16.7 million. Allen Robinson, $18 million. I mean, you're talking about Kenny Golladay, who doesn't catch touchdowns. He's making $21.4 million a year.
Come on.
Well, wasn't it Kirk who reset the market?
Yes, it was.
And we're not talking about, he's like
I mean, legitimately,
The
if I'm
most
not-
elite thing we've never seen?
I think Nook Hopkins is about $19+ million too. So this is the conversation when it comes down to it. Like, I think that's the most hurtful thing about, like, J-Rob, I know you got to play hard ball. If they hit you with 25, they're supposed to in the opening bids. You come to 16, you got to move from 16. You're going to incentivize me to make that. And AJ's other point was, dog, I'm playing behind Derrick Henry. Y'all giving Derrick the ball 30 times a game. Of course my number's not going to be that high, but if you put him in another offense like Philly, look what he does in 1 year, not even a whole calendar year.
I'll say this. They didn't have Jalen Hurts there.
Yeah.
AJ wouldn't have gone there either, because that's part of it as well.
Played a big part.
That's part of it as well.
615-737-1045. Final call for phone calls as we wrap up with anyone else who wants to get in here quickly in our final couple of minutes. One more segment upcoming. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone.
So we at my daughter's party. And we throwing or whatever, and Jalen like, I'm gonna get Howard to try to trade for you. Just joking and playing, saying we don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't even think he gonna do it.
Right,
So I ain't even take him serious.
Yeah.
All right, fast forward, day before the draft, Jalen just messing with Howie. Jalen went to go talk to Howie. Howie like, I don't know how we gonna do it, just like that. So I go to bed, Jalen hit me back. He's like, Howie ain't talking about nothing for real. Like, all right, I'm like, all right, it's over. In the morning, I get a phone call from Jalen. I don't know if Howie slept on it or something, or thought about it. He called Jalen and got to talking or whatever. He was like, you sure you want to come in for real? Like, we you know what I'm saying? How we trying to like talk about it a little bit for real? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it don't work out, yeah, sure, why not?
And that's how it all started when A.J. Brown was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and maybe one day we'll get to stop talking about it. 615-737-1045. We start with Mo in Nashville first up as we go rapid fire on the phone lines. What's going on, Mo?
What's up, Mo?
Yeah, so I had a quick question. I heard you guys talking about Derrick Henry could possibly be traded. I know this guy has been so helpful for our Tennessee Titans team, but I just had a quick question. What if he rushes for about like 1,800, 1,900, or even 2,000 yards next season? Is he still on the table to be traded? I'd just like to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Mo.
I think real quick, every year that he has over 1,500, 1,300 yards, like keeps his value up.
It makes it tougher.
It makes it tougher. B-Mac also said he think he got about 3-4 years left in him. That was interesting to me. Derek is different.
Oh, I've actually got a counter argument to that.
What?
If he's rushing for that many yards, something went wrong in your passing game.
I think, too, it means he's had a lot more tread on the tires that somebody is less willing to pick up and trade.
Yeah, we're talking 400 touches if we're at that yardage.
I think so, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, I know he's the avatar that only broke down once, but
yeah,
I agree.
I'm with you on that one.
Up next, Bobby in Franklin, 615-737-1045. What's going on, Bobby?
What's up, Bobby?
Hey, guys. I'm going to be purposely provocative here, but I think Robert Wood's tweet is really more telling than anything AJ has to say, because I think the Titans are notoriously bad at getting wide receivers, and not only that, I think it's just a dead-end place because the DNA of the franchise is pro-run. In other words, we're the franchise of Earl Campbell and Eddie George, and I just think if we want to turn things around, we have to have the goal of having the three best wide receivers. And Ramon, I think your experience, tell me if I'm wrong here, but, when you were at the Steelers, I want to say you had Hines Ward and Plaxico Burress, and then you guys drafted a kid out of Central Michigan in the 6th round named Antonio Brown. All of a sudden you had the three best receivers in the league, and yet you could still run the football. And I think it can be done, but you got to really make an effort to have the best receiving core in the NFL. So I'm going to get out there and let you talk.
I think I saw Kayla's reaction. I think I'm on the same page as you, Bobby, with the Bobby Woods,
Bobby Trees.
Bobby Trees. I thought the same thing.
He tweeted out, if you don't know the context, free after being cut yesterday.
With an exclamation point.
And what is Bobby saying, pretty much? That
like,
he
get
can
me
now
out.
go.
Now I can go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just a glorified tight end anymore. Not just a blocker.
And that's what he did a lot of.
Yep. One more call before we get out of here as we run out of time here at the end of the show. Let's go to Joe in Cool Springs to wrap things up. Good morning, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Good morning to the best morning sports show in the nation. Love you guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Free right there,
Call
Joe.
anytime.
VIP status, Joe.
Hey, all this talk about AJ leaving, I put that all on J-Rob because when they brought Julio in, wasn't he willing to give up his jersey number and, that was his idol? And then fast forward, here we are, kind of feel like everybody's blaming AJ for leaving. I think that was all on J-Rob there. Bone, we need an offensive coordinator there, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, facts, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
It's going to forever be sticky.
And the question for tomorrow's show is, can the Titans afford a legitimate number one wide receiver in its current offensive philosophy? How much money can you feasibly budget for a wide receiver that's a target guy that other teams in the league want and would covet as a number one while giving the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times a game. That's going to fit into that mold because we've seen receivers that are cool with doing the dirty work.
Yeah.
We've seen A.J. Brown and Corey Davis that are great with being blockers and running the bang routes over the middle and putting their bodies in the line and to safeties over the middle of the field. And then we've seen Josh Reynolds and Julio Jones not really be interested in the offensive philosophy at all because the Titans are asking receivers to do things that no one else is really asking receivers to do in the NFL.
And you have to also look at on the other side of things. If they decide to go free agency and get a veteran in here, how much does that guy want to come here?
Right.
Because people turn down Baltimore.
So that's the discussion for tomorrow. We'll dive into more of what Bryant McFadden had to say and see what else happens today. Who's to say? Brett Bryant told us to have our heads on a swivel. Week ain't over yet. See what else the Titans could possibly do today. I'm not speaking with any foresight, but just...
Bud Dupree's trending, by the way.
Is he trending?
The Spidey senses have been tingling this week. Back at it again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And words of wisdom from Ramon Foster, whether you're free, you're cut, you're anything in between on the Titans or off the roster.
I think it's kind of fair to say, Will, your Twitter fingers and your mic, Kayla.
Yeah.
It's always hot.
And change the song.
And let's get loud.